Gastonia. Hillbillies Barbecue and Steaks off I-85 in Lowell. Basic Finance Company on East Main Street, Shelby. Flooring America on Slater Street, Kings Mountain. Carolina Hardware on the Reedsville Road in Lincoln. Allen Drug Store on Main Street in Stanley. Mitchem's Kitchen, Highway 27 West in Vale. Trackside Traders, South Railroad Avenue in Kings Mountain. Caputo's Pizza Company, South Mountain Street, Cherryville. And at Arnold's Jewelry, South Washington Street in Shelby. The drawing will be held Friday, December 20th. Business qualifiers will win a Christmas teddy bear. Entry rules may vary from store to store. Don't miss the annual $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway from KTC Broadcasting and the What's Up Shopper. Join us every Sunday at 11 a.m. for our Sunday morning worship services. On WCSL 1590 AM and 92.3 FM, it's the Sunday morning service of First Baptist Church in Cherryville. On WLON 1050 AM and 107.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Covenant Bible Church in Lincoln. And on WOHS 1390 AM and 101.5 FM, it's the Sunday service of the Calvary Baptist Church of Shelby. Join us each and every Sunday morning for our Sunday morning worship services on The Boss and Carolina Country.
Now's the time to buy your new Kubota from Parker Farm Service in Kings Mountain. Right now, pay zero money down. Get 0% APR financing for 60 months. Come on in now for all the details. All for good on the Kubota BX Series, the Kubota B Series, the Kubota L Series, and the Kubota MX Series tractors. Again, zero money down and 0% APR financing for 60 months. Get your new Kubota today at Parker Farm Service, 126 Bessie Drive in Kings Mountain.
Chosen breed, you don't see too many like me, cause I am one of the reasons you do what you do when you wanna be me instead of you, cause I am still on beat, showing love to the streets, come on, you know me, cause that's who I am.
And good morning on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin Hastings, Terry Reinhardt, Hunter Yancey, and the Bulldog, who unfortunately lost his bite last night. Tom's in the funny.
JP's taking shots.
That was not a shot.
Shots at me at 8:04.
That was not a shot.
Yeah,
JP, eat your breakfast.
That was
okay?
from nowhere.
Eat your Mitchem's Kitchen.
Good morning, JP.
Hey, you didn't lose your bark. You just lost your bite last night.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, JP.
You better come stronger than that talking about losing
You better
your
take
bark.
some bites out of that Mitchem's Kitchen's breakfast there.
I will.
And just let us break down that game.
Oh,
You're gonna-
goodness.
I'm just kidding. I
JP,
know.
that's how you get cut around here, boy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, wait till this is done. Yeah, and you're leaving.
Well, we had football last night. JP was in here, and Hunter did a pregame show, and I was out at Kings Mountain. Tom for the Burns Shelby game. Terry was in the house, so we were pretty much, the five of us, got pretty well covered, I guess.
Can I say one thing?
Yes, sir.
One more thing. Thank you, Robbie Morgan, for making the video possible.
Yes.
Right.
There was a lot of people that watched it. The people that don't like me didn't say anything, so thank you. But the people that did,
that you know of.
yeah, that I know of. a lot of people that did sent me cards and letters. Thanked you. We enjoyed it. Out of town. Trent Marty's family watched from Ohio, and they are into, like, Trent Marty's family is into the games. Like, they watch the games every week. So I know there's some people who we won't mention that think that everyone who watches should be at the game, but you do understand that the world is bigger than Cleveland County. I mean, you can
Just
go,
a tad.
You can go to other places. Like, people live other places.
Tom, being from Cherryville, there's people, or a lot of people in Gaston County that have no idea that Cherryville is actually in Gaston County.
Well,
Like you go to, I don't know how many people I talked to, like, growing up, and like, you from Cherryville? Yeah, like, and they said Gaston County schools, and I'm like, what?
I mean, you got people. We've got people serving in our armed forces that watch it. We've got people out of town. Like, one player, I think his grandparents lived in Texas or somewhere and wanted to know if he can watch the game. So don't just think it's, okay, well, it's two types of people, those who will either go to the game or sit on the couch and watch. That's not really what it is. And and Robbie Morgan made it possible for a lot of people to share that moment with their family. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, and you mentioned stuff like that. People think, well, it's always close or somewhere else. When Lewis was here, we had people who were tuned in to us from Canada because they were up there and they were tuning back in on Friday night for a football game.
Right.
So be careful. I mean, it's everywhere.
I think that it's a special thing that we do here, and as long as we're able to do it, I'm glad I'm part
Let me
of
tell you
it.
what I did yesterday, talking about that, watching them from different states and stuff. So I'm sitting there, checking our links and everything before the games, and I just, for some reason, maybe I typed in high school. I don't know what I typed in, but or because I was going through the high school football links, a game come up live on my channel. It said Thomas Jefferson live. I didn't click on where it was at. I was like, did they start early today? So I click on it and start watching it, and I'm looking, listening to the game. I'm like, who's doing this game? It was in Georgia. And it said Thomas Jefferson Academy. So, I'm sure there's 1,000 of those Toms in America.
One of those in Pennsylvania.
How'd they come out last night?
I have not looked at the score. I was told they lost.
How'd they come out last night?
They
Terry?
lost. They lost.
28-14.
Did they?
Yeah.
28-14.
Oh, there it is. Robbinsville 28, Thomas Jefferson 14.
So I was sitting there watching Thomas Jefferson, Georgia, for about 10 minutes. I was like, these aren't the colors. This ain't right, because they and the announcers at the time I was watching it, they never just happened to me. They didn't say the names or anything like that. So
Robbinsville must have an effective recruiting program. What do you think?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, here's what I want to know, Terry. Looking at these matchups. Oh, okay, y'all marked them off last night. So looking at these, Terry, like parity. How many of these teams that are in this state championship have already won multiple state championships? I was just looking at the names last night. I was like, good grief.
The 8 that are there, and then you had to put Robbinsville in it because they're 7.
Yeah.
But they've won multiples.
Right.
6 of the last year's champions are back again.
Right. That's what I thought. Like just looking at that, and they're talking about going to 5A, which I think is good. They got to do something with the charter/private, I guess.
Now,
how that's
explain that. What would going to a 5A entail?
I have not looked at exactly how they're going to break that up and
So
the
go
details
to
on
drop
that.
it from 8 state champions to 5.
Well, they may do they may do 10. If I'm,
Oh my God!
what do you? Obviously, Tom, they're doing 10. What are we talking about? It's more money.
I go,
Think about it, they just voted on
I don't think
themselves
they
to
wanna
make-
do that.
Hey, we've got 100 counties.
I'm pretty sure they will.
We have
I'm pretty sure they will.
We have 100 counties. We should have 100 state champions, one for every county.
Major League Baseball plays 162 games and refuses to cut 5 games. You think the Athletic Association is going to cut half their income from 8 to 5?
Hey, this is
No.
this
They're
is
playing 10 championships.
What's more? What's more
Guys,
American?
get ready for that.
What's more American than profiting from free labor?
That's why you are 100% right. I mean, that's where it's going to. I'd bet that. I'd bet my house on that. Don't put me to it, just in case they do make it come back. But I would say that's ain't no way they're not going to.
We want to make sure the revenue for those six-figure salaries up in Chapel Hill
That's
keep rolling.
true.
We need to make
That's
sure they
true.
need to put bread on their table.
Yeah.
Kevin, come on.
And I'm not trying to tell them what to do, and I'm just an individual over here making my own opinion. But I don't see how you could go to 10 state champions. I can see going to 5. I mean, you're dwindled into 1A and you're dwindled into 4A. And if you go to 5 classification and then all of a sudden you're going to spread it to 10 state champions, somebody's getting in with 1 win or no wins into the playoffs. I think that'd be
you're
very
right,
tough.
Terry
You're
actually
right.
did the math on it one day and split them up. I'm going to check my notes here while we're getting ready for this morning. But we do want to say good morning, everybody. We're having Mitchem's Kitchen breakfast.
Yes.
We're fed every Saturday by Mitchem's Kitchen, and also Friday nights the pregame show. I guess last night was the last pregame show. We're doing one next week on Saturday morning, so it'll be the last Friday meal that they prepared for us for the year. So I want to thank Carol and the gang for that on Friday nights as we move in, and they continue to sponsor us on Saturdays. 276-1155 up there in Vale. Give them a call. Go eat breakfast on Terry Reinhardt's front porch, can't you, Terry?
You almost could. There's chairs out there.
Hey, and when what you could do is go catfishing over there after we
All I
breakfast.
know is if you're going to go do that, then bring me some food, though, before you eat up on
Yeah,
my
okay. Bring Terry. Don't come just eat on Terry's
That's
front
right.
porch and just look at him. And you could bring him something.
I said,
Terry, what are you
gonna
eating
give
on this
somebody
morning?
some- I had some
This is ours.
oatmeal, and I get the same thing that Tom just got, a bacon, egg, and cheese on toast.
He got tired of watching me
Yeah,
devour
it was
mine.
good.
I
It was
actually,
good.
you know what? Kevin, one time about 4 or 5 months ago, he got a little upset with me because I wasn't on time.
Mm-hmm.
But I started eating that bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich. I am on time every Saturday morning to get that bacon, egg, and cheese
Hey,
sandwich.
me and I pulled.
I wish I could say the same last night about Terry, but
Oh yeah.
I was waiting for it.
Oh, I
I
just
was waiting for it.
Keep
20,
my own
about
thoughts
20,
to
30 minutes
myself.
late to the show.
Terry got a tardy.
Terry
was,
did
he
get a
was
tardy.
he marked tardy?
Oh yes.
I had to turn his
Oh,
color
yes.
from green
Hey,
to yellow.
The show started off with Hunter sitting here by himself.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And it's just the camera and Hunter and the scoreboard, and he's just
So-
like, "Well,
So
I'm
I'm
all
like-
by myself."
He was like,
You better
he
hope
was
he
like
did some
Colin Cowherd's
homework.
show,
Yeah.
all by
I know.
himself.
That's
I was
it's
like,
exactly right.
I was like, Terry's got all the notes.
Yeah.
Shannon's not there for the Cleveland County stuff, and there's Hunter sitting there by
brought some
himself,
notes.
about to talk about East
well,
Surrey and Mitchell.
yeah, I'm about to say, I'm looking up here, and I'm like, I only know 3 teams that are up here.
What you should have done is just pretend on the other ones and just start like just Vance runs the ball and
Well, what
Richmond
I-
throws it.
I
And just
said up
break
here,
it down.
I told everybody, I was like, well, I'm about to filibuster my way through this. So I'm just going to list the games. I'm going to draw out. I'm going to go over the power poll, even though nobody cares about
I'm
the
gonna tell you
power
what,
poll
dude.
now.
You know, Hunter, you think about that, and you could really mess people up. Because if you come in here and you just took one of them teams you didn't
Oh, I
know and
know.
just mentioned somebody, everybody would go to the game saying, "Hey, he must be hurt. I haven't heard his name."
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. I could have come up here and said that's what was so dangerous. I had the mic in front of me. I could have said whatever I wanted.
You could.
You
have.
weren't here. Shannon wasn't here.
Wait a
the only
minute, where-
person that
whoa,
could have
whoa,
said
whoa.
something was Calvin.
Whoa. Where was Shannon?
He was on his way. He didn't know if he was
That
gonna
generation,
come or not.
Hunter. Right?
That generation.
Shannon actually was on the injury report. But
Yeah,
he
he's
came
on the
in.
IR.
He's on the injury report.
Was that Shannon's
Yes.
creepy
Yes.
close up
Yes.
of his? It was
yes.
like
You didn't read the details on that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No, I just looked at it. I said, "What is that?"
Ocean water. He's kissing an octopus. Is what I
Yeah.
was told.
You don't need to say anything.
No, that's all I would say.
That's all I care to
So,
hear.
That's
either
unfortunate,
way,
man.
Hunter
Ugh.
was sitting here by himself
Yeah.
with no food,
No, nothing.
no drink.
Nothing. I'm just sitting there.
I'm just glad he didn't show up during the intro and he was here early enough. Dad wasn't just sitting
Hey,
here by
that
himself.
intro music's not my walk up. This is my walk up. This is my walk up.
I got you, man.
Our Saturday morning show.
Well, if you're watching online, you see Hunter's got his brand new Cherryville Ironman hoodie on his head. He is not
Yeah.
an Ironman, but
not
he's
an Ironman.
representing him. He's a Bandy's Trojan. But Coach Pruitt brought some by for the post game and pregame shows yesterday. That's where they came from.
I don't know if it was for somebody else, but mine.
No, it was for you. It was for you. I set it there for you. I might have one for Will if he'll represent it, but I don't know if he puts anything else on his head that's not green and yellow. And he always forgets to put the B on his hat, Terry, don't he? He's always got the C in green and yellow, but he
Yeah,
always
that's
forgets to
what
put
I'm
the
saying.
B.
Well,
The
he
C or the
comes in
G.
here last
He
night
can't afford a
looking for
full
the B.
hat. He only buys 3/4 of a hat. He buys the yellow, buys the green, buys the C, and never buys the B. Poor Will. All right, I want to thank Coach Pruitt for hooking our heads up last night. Juwan wore his on top of the Charlotte Catholic press box last night.
Wasn't too cold though.
No, it wasn't. It was a nice night out there for Juwan.
You
he
like
had to
that
put,
picture I sent you?
Yeah, absolutely, that was funny. He was up there. He only thing he had to walk away from the camera one time, and it was to put an extra pair of socks on.
Yeah.
Because when we got up there where it rained during the day, the top was like almost 1/4 of an inch like wet. Like so you were
Right.
walking around in water, so his feet got a little splashed wet up there. So he had to change socks about the third quarter. But other than that, it was a pretty good night out there. Coach Pruitt Terry says, I'll let you read that. But Robbinsville may have been something about the most championships there, and you can read that for Coach Pruitt. And the
It
game.
is the truth, Coach. You are exactly right. Robbinsville does have the most championships in North Carolina.
So
He's right.
you know, I'd like to see maybe 5A stretching it to 5A does. Maybe it adds a little parity. Tom, instead of these same schools over and over and over and over and over
That's
again
what,
winning the
that's what
championship.
I'm saying. You got to put some of these programs up against each other. I think 6 state champions is probably appropriate for a state the
A
size.
6A,
Yeah,
6
just
state
go
champions.
to 1 to 6A, and
Yeah.
then you would probably have to combine some conferences. You'd have to do like a 2A, 3A, 3A, 4A, blah 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 blah. You'd have to work that out somehow. But I think 6 state champions, 5 in the public school, 1 for charters and privates. I mean, I don't think. Kings Mountain gave Charlotte Catholic all they wanted and then some. And then, Terry and I were talking that Kings Mountain did make the mistake and Charlotte Catholic, very disciplined team, and I don't want to take anything away from them. But do you really think it's fair for a Charlotte Catholic to be playing Kings Mountain in a game to go to the state when one is in a metropolitan area, a county with 1.2 million people in it, and Kings Mountain, a public school down the road?
Well,
I just don't think it's right.
Well, the same thing with that situation, Cherryville and Bessemer City, they run into Winston-Salem Prep.
Yeah.
In
But
the
I'll say
playoffs.
that- I'll
That's
say
the
this
same
too.
It's not
situation
right.
against
It's not
Cherryville.
right.
5,000 homes against
It's not.
over 1 million
It's
homes.
not right.
Hunter, did you watch the post-game show last night?
I did not. I was
Okay.
in the bed.
So, one of the things, go ahead, Tommy. What was you about to say there? I want to get.
No, I was done. Go
Oh,
ahead.
well, I was just going to say this. I watched the whole game of the Kings Mountain Charlotte Catholic game after, unfortunately, Tom, I realized the Shelby Burns game was getting out of hand. But
Yeah.
I'll say this, though. Even though, like what you said is true about how they live in the metropolitan area, and, we've talked all year how Charlotte Catholic has barely, the losses that they have been against private schools, nationally ranked schools.
And
I'll tell
Weddington
you,
beat 'em,
and
too.
Wedding, and I'll say this after watching that game, I said, Charlotte Catholic is not better than Kings Mountain.
They're not.
Charlotte Catholic,
personally don't
and
think
even
so.
though they won that game, I'll say
don't.
this: if they are, it's not. It didn't take 7 overtimes.
Yeah, and see,
No.
that's where me and Tom was talking about, because when you
Who
go
we
to
got,
overtime,
JP?
Charlotte Catholic was like,
JP.
we're going to keep on playing and let you make the mistake.
Which I understand, and I think I was starting to text it to you until Charlotte Catholic got the interception to finish the game. But because you had said, we're 7 overtimes deep now. We could have just played an entire, like how NFL does. But see, I like the college games a little bit. But here's the thing: I know someone's got those flip flopped. I think after the third overtime, I think they do this after at least 3 or 4 overtimes in college. You can't kick an extra point anymore. You have to go for 2
Right.
points.
Yeah.
You have to
We'll-
go for
we're
the
gonna
2,
talk about it in a
which I think. But I will
That's
say
where I
this
was
too.
going. Coach Pruitt's on the phone.
Coach is on the phone. Okay,
Yeah.
well, I'll let Coach Pruitt talk.
We'll get into thoughts. Coach Pruitt, what's up this morning? You didn't make it out to the Watauga game a little bit. Landry, I guess you said, was sick last night. Want to hope he gets better. Coach Pruitt, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
How y'all doing?
Good morning. What's up?
Oh, not much. Enjoyed the coverage last night. I did get to stay at home and had the phone on one game and the Chromebook on another game, and was just going back and forth a little bit. But with that said, it was a good set of games, and congratulations to the teams that are still playing, and congratulations to the teams that are not playing. So good luck to everybody as they continue on. Best of luck to Shelby. But yeah, I was listening to y'all's talk and getting ready to get out of the car. So the best way for me to continue to hear it is actually call you and hear it while I'm waiting. So, and I thought I'd do that real quick. But
All right.
But parity is something that, if you look at college football, I was listening top 10 recruiting classes. I don't think none of the top 10 recruiting classes was anybody that wasn't in probably the top 15 in the country. And,
Right.
And each year, I think the college football playoff probably looks about the same. It's just rehashed year after year, but that kind of happens in high school athletics sometimes. But, the thing I said about Robbinsville, you've got 3 schools up there, Murphy, Swain, and Robbinsville, that have tradition. And I read last night that their star running back at Robbinsville said it was his goal to take Robbinsville back to the state championship when he was a 5-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you
That's
have
I
that thought
love
process,
that. The kids looking up like that.
Yeah, so that's part of it. But today, in the world we live in, I mean, you got I've always thought the 150 corridor was a place where there's great high school football, all the way from Salisbury through Mooresville and all the way down to Cleveland County. If you think about that, Lincoln High School is included in that, and there's just parts of our state that have that tradition, and that is something that happens within the program. So with that said, I just feel like a Weddington might be as good as any team in the state right now, with the talent that they have and the facilities and the opportunities that they have. And Charlotte Catholic, and I don't know if y'all mentioned or not, Cardinal Gibbons is in the state championship this year, their first appearance, and probably ain't going to be last in 4A. Beat Scotland County, who's always a predominant power, and Thomas Jefferson went up to Robbinsville and 0-0 at the half. That's a hard place to go and play. If you get a chance to watch a film of their game, it's got all those state championships underneath the scoreboard. I mean, it like overtakes the scoreboard. You spend more time looking at the state championships than the scoreboard. And when I was growing up over at Starmount, first win on our road to the state championship was beating the Robbinsville team at Starmount. So, you kind of pick up on those things as you go through the years of coaching, and you see those things. And it's kind of trendy sometimes, and you have groups that are really good, like Lee County's going to the state championship, and I think they got a 5-star player on that team, and they got some really good talent. And it doesn't happen all the time, and there's got to be a lot of other factors like injuries and health, and just, sometimes it's luck. I mean, there's just parts of the games that sometimes happen, and you never know what can lead you to that point where you get that opportunity. So with that said, I'll just take things off the air, and I'll let you guys keep working at it.
Well, Coach Pruitt, let me ask you one question if you got a sec.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any thoughts on the overtime rules as you like them, don't like them?
I think the overtime rule is really set up for a team that's got a better kicker than the other team, just like I heard y'all saying. If somebody ever stops someone, all they got to do is walk the kicker out there and win.
Right.
And that would have been the difference. But it took 7 overtimes for somebody to – and, I mean, the play where the ball got tipped in the air, I mean, that ball was right there for somebody to make a catch. And it's football. You're not going to make every catch in that situation. And the ball just bounced right into the hands of the Catholic player, and the ball game was over. But, I think when I was watching y'all and y'all talking about it last week, I really think maybe the ball at the 20 that gives you opportunity to get your first down, and then the ball's inside the 10, and, you're only going to have the opportunity to play 2 downs of football right there in that situation. And then the other thing about that, the rule where you have to go for 2 eventually. I mean, I think that game would have ended earlier if that had been the case.
Right.
And the ironic thing to me when I was watching the game, it seemed like Kings Mountain, I guess, won the toss in 6 of the 7 overtime.
No, what happened? No, what happened was I talked to Scott Nice after the game. He was down there in the huddle on the flips. So when Catholic won the toss, they chose their end zone. When Kings Mountain won the toss, they chose the ball. So no matter what happened, it was Catholic ball in their end zone.
Oh.
So besides the first,
I
yeah.
mean, I was like, hey, they won the toss 6 out of 7 times. That's crazy.
That's what we were thinking at first, and I had to ask somebody about that. And the coach, the Catholic coach just wanted every possession down there in his end zone. The first one was in the opposite end zone, but after that, everything was in their end zone.
Well, yeah, it was also interesting that Catholic eventually got to the point where they were like, hey, let's use our timeout. Nice to kick. It looked like an NFL game there for a couple of series, but it was a great game. Obviously, a great crowd of people. I know there was quite a couple of people from the area. Matt Bean went down to that game, and Coach Henley and his group was down at that game. And getting to see it on computer was great, but probably being there would have been better. So
outstanding atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. But appreciate you guys' coverage, and got one more week, and then it'll be another season. So I look forward to you guys, next year, okay?
Yes, sir. Thanks for keeping our heads warm last night, too.
Yes, thanks, Coach.
You got it, man. You got it. See you.
Coach Pruitt, Cherryville Ironman.
Yeah, see, I just pulled it up, looking at the college rule. It's to the 5th overtime period, and then they make you go for 2, and they start at the 25-yard line. Right. So that means you at least still have to get a first down. You got to go 1st and 10, and then you can get to 1st and goal, not just what they start at the 10-yard line.
At 10.
You're asking Charlotte Catholic, who on an initial push at the line of scrimmage gets 4 yards to go 10.
Well, look at it from a Kings Mountain. Let's be a homer perspective from it. So from a Kings Mountain perspective, both teams are going from the 10-yard line. You have an outstanding offense. You can call any play you want. Yeah. But going from the 20 puts more pressure on their defense because the safeties would have to back up on the 20.
And they'd have to respect Kobe.
And then they couldn't load the line against Mac on the 10-yard line on 1st and goal. So when you're both going from the 10, it's basically goal line offense versus goal line offense. And you're in 4-down territory. Charlotte Catholic is. It's hard to stop an assignment defense type offense for 10 yards 4 times. Because during the regular course of the game, if you stop them on 3rd down at the 30, they punt. You stop them on 3rd down at the 2-yard line, Charlotte Catholic went for it on 4th down twice, didn't kick the field goal. So that's gutsy. But, and like I said, Kings Mountain, all they had to do was walk out and kick the ball if they missed it. But it's really, really hard to stop a South Point, even the West Lincoln, all that, the North Lincoln. You saw it. Think about North Lincoln, if y'all went to overtime with them, the 4 times inside the 10. I mean, that's hard to do, that ball control offense.
With Cerusse and some of those others, they had to run the ball out. It would have been really, really tough.
Yeah. And Catholic's line, that one kid, the other guys were big, and he was just bigger than the rest of them. He was a big man. But, if you go from the 20 or 25, maybe get a first down. But that also, Tom, talk about the kicking game. Those kickers were close to missing the extra points. But I don't think either one of them would have ever missed one as long as the ball got put down right. So if you back up to the 20-25, the kid for Catholic during warm-ups was banging 40 and 45-yarders into the stands. He missed a 30-yarder in the game with pressure. Kings Mountain comes close to blocking almost every kick.
See with the,
and he kicks it right up in the air. It didn't look like a good kick at all.
There's 3 things that can go wrong on a kick: snap, hold, kick. So I mean,
We were praying a holder didn't lose the game,
Right.
or a snapper, because the long snapper for Kings Mountain snapped one over their head in the first quarter. So we're sitting there going, "Gosh, please don't, have these dumb rules," and then the snapper loses a game.
So
here.
I think people talk about a kicker. It's not a college game. It's not a pro game. It's
Right.
a high school game.
Right.
Things go wrong.
Well, we
when you
kept
try to
sitting
kick
there.
in high school.
Yeah, I was sitting there and I was kept saying one of these kickers is going to miss
Heck,
one.
even going for two saves those kickers.
But
maybe
they-
maybe in
were-
some type of embarrassment or something like that.
There were 2 times last night that Kings Mountain stopped them on first down and ended up being 2nd and 13. Twice.
Yeah.
They had that. And somehow, I mean, when you're that close and you do what Charlotte Catholic does, I mean, no big deal. We're going to drive, and then we're going for it on 4th down, and we score.
Right.
I'll tell you what the turning point was in overtime, and Kevin knows exactly what I'm going to say. Was that phantom PI call? That was a clean play by that defensive back jumping in front of that.
2 players
jumping
left their feet at the same time, diving for a ball, and they called a pass interference.
That would have been what, 3rd and long?
To me, it just looked like I don't think anyone of them could have called it.
Pass interference on Kings Mountain.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Did rosary beads fall out as the flag came out?
Every
That might have been
every
it.
penalty on Catholic last night was a 5-yard
Oh yeah. I know.
procedural penalty. Every single one on Kings. We had holds. We had pass interferences. We had everything. We had a 67 got called for holding. Tom, he was 3 feet from out of bounds on a screen pass. Who did he hold out there?
And the only reason why I say it was a real big killer is because Charlotte Catholic would have had to just go for the field goal.
Too.
And I don't know necessarily if Charlotte Catholic could have stopped Kings Mountain's offense. So instead of Kings Mountain getting the opportunity to go and score to win because Catholic had to get a field goal, that bailed out Catholic and put them right there basically on a 2-yard line.
Twice they stopped them. So if the ball's at the 20, that means Catholic has the ball at the 12 twice, kicking field goals instead of scoring touchdowns, right?
Yeah, go ahead, Terry. What was it?
Well, I mean, we got down to the end of it, and the last touchdown that Catholic scored, even Andre and me both sat in here, and Andre looked at me and said, I didn't know he had the ball when the fullback got it and just almost walked in.
I didn't know he had the ball.
The quarterback handoffs in the backfield.
Yeah, were fantastic.
I've played that offense in that position. He was amazing, the quarterback. You didn't know a lot of times who had the ball. They had their all red jerseys, so it looked like a blur, I guess, to the Kings Mountain offense when they moved, because everything was left right. It wasn't coming at you almost. It was left right, and then the guy would cut when he got the hole. The fullback dives were so quick that's what they were like. He was handing off, and he didn't get turned around and hand off. He was handing off at 90 degrees instead of 180. Like, he wasn't turning his back and hand off. It was boom, and then he's faking other fakes. And then by the time Kings Mountain, they put 6 on the line all night. So they were like, if someone on our line is going to beat your man to man and get in the backfield. But if they went the opposite way, you beat on this side. So it was a little game. It was a little game of
that call you had, and I saw it too. And I don't know who it was that was next to you that called it as well. But the quarterback sneaking overtime that nobody lined up in that guy.
Right
nobody,
over there.
Nobody.
On the 2-yard line.
Linebacker was staring at that guy and said, I'm not even going to feel that.
Well, see, it was kind of like the Bears 4-6 defense. You only had one linebacker in the middle. So Catholic started.
And that was 4th down, am I right?
Yeah.
That was it. That was it.
The Catholic started. So what Catholic did, Wilson was guarding that fullback man to man. He's the one that ended up throwing the pass there on the trick play. So Wilson would go out and guard him man to man. Then there would be nobody in the middle of the field. It would just be 6 linemen. So they were moving him out of the middle and then trying to. They did a great job.
Yeah.
But, like, the thing about it is, it's a 7-7 game in 4 quarters.
Yeah.
So like, we've played a style of football for 4 quarters, and then we put the ball on the 10, and like my reference was, I got some of mine here. My reference was, it's almost like the penalty kick situation, shootout in hockey, or even a home run derby in baseball, or a free throw contest in basketball, to where you get the ball on the 10. It's and almost isn't overtime meant to be like to be quick and in the game and to not extend it. If you play 7 overtimes, we could have played another quarter, maybe even 2 quarters. Of football.
Here we go. I got the solution.
But anytime, if the ball, just real quick, Tom, if you move the ball back to 20 or you play regular football whatsoever, Charlotte Catholic never scores and wins almost because they can't. They couldn't score on them. They couldn't go 70 yards.
Let's select 5 guys from each team and make them take field goal kicks from the 20, like soccer. And
let the lineman kick field goals.
Last thing
each coach picks the other team's kickers.
And this is the last thing I got to say about it. We texted a little bit about it when I was watching the game. Kings Mountain. This goes to credit what Terry always says about Charlotte Catholic. It seems like Kings Mountain in big games always finds a way to shoot themselves in the foot, whether it's some sort of penalty that they do or it's a blown call that they really shouldn't have called. But Charlotte Catholic, once again, I mean, they didn't do anything really to lose the game. They just stuck in it until the end until Kings Mountain has a moment that they kind of just mess up.
Were there any turnovers?
Until the interception at the end was the only one that I can remember.
Besides that was the only one?
Well, Kings Mountain got, let's say, screwed out of 2 turnovers, Tom.
Did they?
Oh, my goodness. So, well, first of all, I feel like I watched 2 games last night. And it's hard to talk about this game because I feel like I watched 4 quarters, 7-7. And then I don't know what I watched for overtime. Like, we could have done that to start. We could have just come that and started overtime at 7:30 and did that from the 10-yard. Like, that's pretty much what we watched. Like, what if somebody said, you're going to go to the game tonight, and instead of kicking off, you're going to get 50-some points, 100 points, but everybody gets the ball at the 10.
Oh, I want you to think about it. 49 points were scored from the 10-yard line. That's it for Charlotte Catholic because they only had 7.
Quarterback for Catholic, Tom, so he drops back to pass, gets blown up from behind. I think Coleman or Ushery on a blitz from behind hits him. He's not passing the ball. The ball's up here. Like, I think he might have had 2 hands on it. I'm not sure. But when he got hit, ball comes out, rolls around. When he got hit, the referee's standing right behind him, okay, like right there. So at that point, if it's an incomplete pass, does he not blow the whistle? The ball rolled around for 5 or 6 seconds. Everybody jumps on. We got a pile. Kings Mountain comes up with the ball. The referee then walks in, looks at the pile, looks at the guy in the middle, and they look at each other, and then they go, incomplete pass. Like, they didn't call it immediately, didn't blow the whistle. They didn't blow the whistle until after everyone jumped on the pile and Kings Mountain came out with the ball and then said incomplete pass. Now, Charlotte Catholic was marching in their territory. That might have been, I don't think that was the score. I don't know if that was the scoring player or the driver or not. So, little while later, Kings Mountain gets down and a kid fumbles the ball, squirts out. It rolls it out in front of the referee in the middle behind the linebackers again. I mean, it's at his feet, Tom. Kings Mountain jumps on the ball and everybody else. They've not yet blown the whistle. He even threw the fumble bag, the bean bag. Come back out. Charlotte Catholic ball runner was down. Kings Mountain got 2 fumbles on the 40 and 30-yard line. After the referees talked about it, it was ruled an incomplete pass and the ball was down. Neither of which was ruled on the field at the time.
I'm telling you. Probably saw that little white collar up underneath the referee.
Ethan Reed on a third and like 7 scrambled, ran out of bounds at the 49, reached for the 50. Thought he even had. I was like, they might measure this. They marked him out at the 48.
Makes you wonder sometimes.
Like, he clearly stepped like on the 49-yard line and reached for the 50, but marked him out at the. Kobe Paysauer ran out. Looked like, when you was watching, did it look like he got pushed out like at the 4 or 5-yard line on that little pass down the left side? Mm-hmm. They marked him out at the 10, first to go from the 10. And like I said, I don't like going into that. Like, there may have been, he stepped on it. I may have not seen something, but it was just that. Kobe Paysauer got pass interfered with on the first drive.
Yes, he did.
The DB, they threw a short back shoulder throw. Kobe jumps up to high point it. The DB runs right through his chest. The safety hits him, knocks his helmet off. Incomplete pass.
No call?
No call. Kobe actually almost caught the ball, but the second shot that took his helmet off when he landed knocked the ball out. So Kobe caught the ball in the air. The guy had already hit him and knocked him back.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that Catholic got to say, like sometimes in playoff games, these are the guys I want to come call this game?
Well, don't you get to say who you don't want? Is that's a thing? And I'm sure.
No,
I don't know if you get to say who you do want.
Split the stuff up. I don't think.
I wonder if you get to say these are the 6 guys I want, because if that's the case, That's not good for a
Tom, the
first
interception at the end of the game, no referee made a signal. They just ran off the field. Nobody. They looked at each other for a second. You watched it on video. Nobody threw a touchdown. Or, an interception. Nobody pointed the other way. They all looked at each other. And the head ref he starts running off the field and waving at the guys saying, "Come on,
come on."
Yeah.
Let's
the rest
go.
of them are looking at each other.
Watch it?
It's over. Let's go.
I'm just stating facts. Is all I can do. And people say, well, "Are you saying this? Are you saying that?" All I can tell you is what I saw and what happened. And those are things that happened. With all that said, Kings Mountain could have went for 2 7 times or 6 times. They could have stopped somebody on the 4th down.
I'm gonna put it like this, and some people are gonna say, "Oh no, here we go." No, this is my opinion about the 3 situations. I thought the pass interference was a pass interference.
Okay.
That's just my opinion, what I saw. But now that's what I'm saying. That's when you don't have replays, show me again, because it's tough for them guys to be out there saying yes or no.
From our standpoint, unless he held him to
it looked like he hit him way before the ball ever got
What was it, helmet to helmet that knocked his helmet off?
No, this is on the pass interference
this
down
is
at the goal
later
line.
guy. It was like 3rd and long or something. Catholic had a play. They threw it in the near the goal line on the pass interference. They caught on Kings Mountain. What Terry's talking about, he thinks he got there early. From our standpoint, we thought unless he grabbed him or hooked him, we thought it was just the pass wasn't there. You know, it was like kind of like 4 or 5 feet to the outside. So they both kind of dove at the same time. So even if it was there early, Terry, I thought he had no chance to catch that ball. And after what happened to Kobe, you know, in the pass interference that we talk about, it's kind of weird, you know. Yeah. Like why was that called when the obvious one wasn't? So to us, like Terry, if you think he got it there, I don't think the ball was even close. And I don't even, you know, that might catchable might not even be a rule, but you know, it was that one was questionable. I'll give Terry that questionable on that one. It was so close that we couldn't tell if he grabbed him or hooked him or anything like that.
Now the second one, I thought the kid was down when he was running the ball, but on the other one where the quarterback had it in his hand, I thought that's fumble. I did.
So
he
in
got
other words,
hit
it's empty
in
hand.
his hand.
Empty
yeah,
hand.
his only thing I think they
classic
said,
1980s quarterback dropping back and getting blown up from the back.
You know when you get hit and all of a sudden your hand's up here and your hand goes like that because you just got hit.
But he didn't call it then immediately.
Hold on. You said
fumbled
that the hit was from the back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when it's from the front,
and the
when
ball
it's from the front, the arm's going forward.
And the ball went straight down. He got blown up from the back.
Do this.
I'll have to watch it. When was it? What phase? Early
second half.
Second half.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it might have been first half. Might have been second quarter.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, we talk about college and we talk about the NFL and they got replays.
Right.
In high schools, you do not.
You don't.
And those were some tit-tat calls
and
that
I
could have went either way.
I understand him even if he wanted to call it incomplete, but he didn't on the field.
Yeah.
He was standing right there, and he let the ball roll out. And then Kings Mountain when he didn't, Tom, his incomplete arms did not come out until the Kings Mountain defender showed them the ball and started running off the field. And then the incomplete pass.
Yeah.
That was my point on it. Whether or not it was incomplete, both of those, Terry might be right. He may have interfered, and he may have been incomplete. But looking at it from Kings Mountain in perspective, man, you know, I don't know.
I'll say this. I listened to your call. Trent and I were on our way back.
Right.
And I remember Kevin saying, intercepted, I think. I'm not sure. Is it? I mean,
and then the referees ran off the field.
I remember saying that.
The referees, they made their way off the field as soon as the student section started jumping over the wall. They said, all right, we've had
the
enough
head
of
umpire,
this.
he was gone.
Now,
he was turning around like, let's go.
I did see the replay from the end zone. It was a pick. So I can't tell if the middle linebacker, based on the video, got his finger on it and tipped it or not. The pass hit the receiver going over the middle. He was going to his right, hit him in this shoulder. So he was kind of falling backwards. The ball on the replay, when you see it on the Twitter feeds, it hit him chest to shoulder area where your shoulder pads are. I know he got his right hand on it. I don't know if he got his left hand on any. It basically squirted out right over his shoulder into the safety behind him. So Kings Mountain could have caught the ball, but I don't know if it was tipped, and that's why he missed it.
Clean pick, though, right?
He missed, yes. It went right into his stomach, and he just started celebrating. Like, it was a tipped pick. So I don't know if the linebacker tipped it before the receiver missed it or if it just hit him in the shoulder and bounced off. But either way, it got him in the shoulder. So I don't know if it was tipped. Like I said, you got to go watch the replay and make a judgment for yourself. I couldn't tell. It was very close to being tipped. But either way, you know, that pass on first down over the middle, it's kind of a tough pass. The series before, They came in on first down. You know what it did? Threw it straight to Kobe in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah. I heard that one.
He just snapped, boom, throw it. The comebacker, Kobe, the fourth down play in the end zone for the touchdown was just amazing, outstanding. He didn't know what the play was, Tom.
Yeah,
Would you listen to that?
That was great.
I'm trying to recall.
He ran into the huddle, and he puts his hands up, and he turns around and looks at the sideline, and he puts his hands up again, and then he kind of just spins in circles, and everyone runs to the line. Well, Kobe just runs out to the sideline.
And threw it to him.
I said on air, Kobe's not in this play.
Yeah.
He has no idea what's going on.
Backside shoulder. Here it
Ethan
is.
Reed takes one play fake, and I guess he knew or thought Kobe knew the play because he didn't even look Kobe's way. He took one step, looked that way, and just slung it over. Kobe come a comebacker. He ran 5 yards in the end zone, came back to it, and dove near the pylon and caught it right inside the pylon for a touchdown out of bounds. Outstanding catch.
Looked like Amari Cooper catching
Yeah, that's
one.
not
Was it on first down?
Fourth down it from the 10.
It was
Yeah.
fourth down. Wow.
Yes.
That was the end of the game.
One
They had
heck
to
of a
get,
play.
that was about the third or fourth overtime. I have
didn't
no
hear it.
idea.
We've
which
had
stupid over. I have no idea which stupid overtime was which stupid overtime.
Well, I'll say this. I know we broke down this game a lot.
Yeah.
I still want to say that.
Go watch it.
I think Greg Lloyd does a great job.
Yes.
I think he's got that program going in the right direction. He doesn't want to hear that right now.
No.
Neither do any of the Kings Mountain fans, because anything less than a state championship was going to be a disappointment for Kings Mountain this year. But still, I mean, you lost to a very, very great Charlotte Catholic team. We know that you're down 7 when you get off the bus when you go there, but still, I mean, it's just
Well, they gave up their 7. You know how they got their 7?
No, I didn't.
First opening drive, they stop them 3 and out. Kings Mountain roughs the kicker.
Wow.
That's what I meant by
15-yard
they just
automatic.
do something
Now,
to ruin
in
themselves.
high school, is there a running and a roughing, Terry?
If you hit the plant leg, it's roughing. If you hit
He didn't
the
hit.
kicking leg,
He didn't hit the
if
plant. He hit the kicking leg, as far as I could tell. Could you tell? Did he hit
Yeah,
the
it looked
kicking?
like me like he hit the kick.
If he hits
After the punt, he
leg,
hit the kicking leg.
if it's not bad, now if you hit the kicking leg but truck him, they're probably going to get you
Right.
for. But the way they break it down, the plant leg is seen as more dangerous. Like if you hit him in the plant leg, it's
absolutely.
more dangerous. So that generally gets the 15-yard variety. I know that's the.
It was
that's
like
the college
4th and
rule.
like 13.
The college
no,
and
no,
pro
no.
rule.
They
It
bailed
was
him
4th
out.
and 17.
Bailed him
So
out.
Yeah.
the automatic first down gave him
Well,
the ball.
yeah, I was gonna say if it's anything's 15 yards, they should still be 4th down and 2. I don't know if they go for it, but it's an automatic first down. And I was like, well, this just was a huge bailout, wasn't it?
No, who's back for that team next year, Kevin?
Kobe and Ethan.
Almost every
Pacehour is back.
Hey,
Right?
Oh, yeah.
almost everybody but Mac and I think there's a couple of DBs. All the linebackers are back.
So they're gonna be here, yeah,
Hey,
okay.
I think I may have called 2 or 3 seniors for Catholic. It's all sophomores and juniors for both these teams almost.
Really?
All of them. And so we could easily see these two teams not even if they're not in the final, Terry, it's definitely going to be in the maybe in the second or third round,
Well,
depending on the matchups. You know, Kings Mountain could have been. This could have been a game that could have been at home. So many coulda, woulda, shouldas. You
Yeah.
lost by 11 points this year.
And you think about what we've done for the last 45 minutes. We've have different pinpoints in this game that could have changed
That anybody
the game.
could have won.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you, when you go back, and that's like people say, well, they don't hear it. Charlotte Catholic since 2010 is 136-15.
Yeah. How do you go home though and eat this though, Terry? You scored 6 touchdowns in overtime and lost.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You scored
Yeah.
6 touchdowns in overtime and lost.
it's almost like when the Burns.
You had
game,
more yards, more everything, and lost.
when the Burns game is pretty much over after the first quarter. Everybody knew that, so it stinks, but you have time to absorb it. But this, I mean, it was just, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine losing that ball game like that. I mean, the one game away from the state playoff and lose, that's got to be emotionally very tough for their kids and their coaches. So, heart goes out to them, but there'll be more chances.
They have another
There'll be more
run at it
chances.
next year with
Yeah, there'll be more
with all the
chances.
underclassmen.
Well, I want to tell you something, and we sat in here, and me and Andre was watching, but when they got into about the 4th overtime, the people watching, boom. It was like I'm telling you, you telling him, he's telling him.
Right now we got 17,800 views. Right?
Watch where it goes.
Really?
Yeah.
From Kings Mountain last night.
Yeah,
I thought I was
Well,
very.
I'm just
Yeah,
looking
at
at right now.
that
This is the
point,
people
huh?
who's watching now.
I was at
17,000.
one point. I know it was just in the 4th quarter, leading up to overtime. I looked down. I was like, "There are 2,000 people watching this."
They
game
were
right
over
now.
3,500.
And I'm sure
when you got to the 6th and 7th overtime.
I'm sure it was the opposite with the Burns game. I'm sure there was probably a bunch at the
No,
beginning.
there was a lot watching that game also.
At the beginning.
But I mean, I'm serious. There's a good many throughout the game.
Well, then it lets you know that you're not talking on deaf ears. You actually got people watching.
Yeah,
There you go,
every once
Tom.
in
They
a while.
tune in to hear Tom.
I was going to look up the demographics in a little bit, try to see what all states tuned in last night. I like doing that on
And
our
see, my
broadcast.
whole deal in behind it is I don't know whether all these people. I mean, I know the Charlotte Catholic people was probably calling their people, and it could have been people outside. You need to turn into this. This is something great.
Yeah.
Are you at home? You know,
Right,
Or pull it up.
Catholic Athletic Director was retweeting our tweets and everything last night, sending out the links.
Are we
I do want to say that as much as I make my little jokes about Catholic and what I say, but they did treat y'all very well.
They wrote out
appreciate
they
that.
wrote out the red carpet for us. The only thing they didn't do, Tom, was provide drinks for us.
Nice. Well,
And you know what? I don't think they're used to media coming in, to be honest. They didn't have food and drinks. Think about this. They had this big press box and all this room, and we're sitting there, and Jason's like, you know, they had a
It was
plug-in
the same
internet. We had
last
plug-in internet, and we're looking around. And we're like, well, we're taking up 2 spots. The other Kings Mountain Road is taking up 1. There's almost nobody else in the press box. Like
They really don't
wasn't a
have
luxury
any media
box.
there.
It wasn't that many other media. The other guys kind of
Because-
come in and out there.
Yeah, because I'm sure a lot of the public schools are a little resentful. But go ahead, Terry.
Well,
what were you
I'm
gonna
just
say?
going to mention when you mention that every time I've been down there, when I went to Independence, and again I go back to the game I went was on Saturday against West Macon. I know there's tons of things for people to do down there, but there was nobody there. But you talking about how good they were. Them guys, when I walked in there, and I was the only guy besides their people that was at that game, but they treated me like I was golden. Anything I wanted,
They
here
did.
you go. You got everything. You just tell us.
so Kevin,
You know,
here's are we a Catholic station now?
We might have to be.
Well,
I mean,
Hey,
you know,
the guy's name was Kevin. You know what his last name was?
Christmas.
Christmas.
Ain't
what
that
a
something?
great
He's
name.
he's
What a great
he's,
name for a
he's in
Catholic.
the he's in the spirit already.
Is that not something?
Does that is he the kid from Home Alone?
It might
Kevin
be
Christmas. If anybody, he grew up to be the athletic director at Charlotte Catholic.
That's amazing.
Man,
yeah,
but
it's
I was I
absolutely
remember
was,
last year
They're
that
so
it
nice
was
to
it was
us.
the same way last year. It was just us and the other gentlemen from Kings Mountain that do their games.
We had the whole
and that-
corner to ourselves.
Yeah, the
And
whole
it was-
corner
I'm like,
to ourselves.
hey,
where's
And
everybody?
But I'll tell you what, that PA announcer is a hype man.
He's good.
He
He's
thinks
good.
he's in WWE.
There's-
He is a hype man.
there was,
some good ones.
there was only one other place I've not got drinks. Central Cabarrus. I said, y'all got any water? Said concession stand.
Give me your money. I'll go get it for you.
All right, Todd. Let's give the scores. I know, and then we've been talking a long time. We'll get out here in just a few minutes on this. We want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. That we've got some. Look for us in the parades. We'll be out in the pink Cadillac and in the white car. Dad will be out in I think Kings Mountain today. Kings Mountain Parade. We're going to give the scores. We'll finish up. Then we'll move over and let Tom tell us a little bit. We'll talk a little bit Burns and Shelby here. JP, you want to take a quick break in a second? All right, so we'll give the scores, come back. We'll break down Shelby and Burns for just a minute before we get into our NFL and everything else talk today.
All right, let me give the locals.
We do got to talk today, Tom. I know you're ready for this. WWE Wrestling Championships.
I don't
Go,
want to
Tom.
talk- I don't want
Go,
to
Tom.
talk. Shelby Golden Lions 42 over Burns 14. Shelby advances to the 2AA playoff.
Can I mention something in behind
go
that
ahead.
Coach Jones mentioned yesterday against Cleveland County folks? They are 18-2 in the
Yeah.
playoff.
Why is that up there twice? What is this? Why is the Burns score up there twice?
Because it was
Yeah.
Andre listed the different broadcast.
Okay.
It was-
Charlotte
See your name
Catholic
up there,
over Kings-
Tom? It says
yeah,
Tom
I
and
see,
Matt.
Tom and Matt. Charlotte Catholic 56, Kings Mountain 49.
Barn burner.
I'm gonna go ahead and do this board too, Terry.
Okay.
I'll let you do the last one.
No, you're good.
Northampton 20, Edgecombe 12, Robbinsville 28, Thomas Jefferson 14.
He just wanted to say that one.
Tarboro 35, John A. Holmes 6. Never heard of
43.
All
that.
we gotta know is Tarboro. That's all you need to
43
know.
straight wins leads North Carolina.
Wow, that's a Gurley school, right?
Yep.
Yes.
East Surrey 35, Mitchell 28. I'm sorry, really good folks at Mitchell. Sorry they came up a little bit short.
Mention one other thing. East Surrey, the only team to beat Reidsville this year.
Northeastern
Way to go, Coach Loman.
Northeastern 23, Clinton 8, Reidsville 63, West Oaks 13. What kind of fourth round playoff game is that?
Oh,
Terry?
you're gonna get to another
That
one
game
over
was
there.
14-13
Oh, holy
at
cow.
one time.
Salisbury over Randleman 14-7. It's Salisbury and Shelby in the 2AA championship game next week. Southern Nash 32, Eastern Alamance 29. Now that's a fourth round. That's what it should be in the fourth round. Lee County 34, New Hanover 9. I almost said Newton. New Hanover 9. Weddington 49, Watauga 14. So the Chris Blanton, my old principal, my buddy up there. Sorry you came up a little bit short, but
Great year.
great year. Leesville 21, Wake Forest 10.
Defending 4AA champion out.
All right. You know, Terry's always full of these little facts.
Look, I'll tell you this. Fridays.
Terry will get here on time, Hunter. He'll give you some facts,
Exactly.
right?
I have a segment on Fridays that's called Terry's Tidbits, and he just gets to go
No.
over tidbits from around the nation.
You know how, like, you got Google? We need, like, Terry. And it's just football
the
stuff.
domain terry.com, and it's high school
it'd be
football.
high school football, state of North Carolina.
Yeah.
All right, Grimsley and East Forsyth, 21-20. So that Greensboro, Grimsley, I remember them. We've played them. Seems like we've come across them here or there. Are they 4A school? That's 4A school, isn't it, Terry?
Yes.
Yeah, 21-20. East Forsyth over Grimsley. East Forsyth going on to the state championship.
Greensboro, Grimsley led that one 14-0.
Wow.
At one time.
And Vance, 38. Richmond goes down.
That's amazing.
That surprised me that Vance
No
beats
trouble.
38-7. Congratulations, Vance High School in Charlotte.
Yeah, there we go again.
So Charlotte going back to the state championship. So that's your
Did they beat
score
Huss?
roundup.
Isn't that who beat Huss this year?
Vance.
Yeah, I think
I'd
that's who
have to
beat
look
Huss
back and
earlier.
see
Wait,
on that
hey,
one.
look.
Start of the
Hey,
year.
hey. I didn't mark it. The one game on my list, I didn't mark it, Terry. I guess I need to go back. I've got 100.
I think that was 107
What's
to 3.
12 times 18 over here? That's how many games I have on this list, and I
I'm
didn't
trying to
mark
think.
the one game.
180 plus 24, which is 204.
I'm pretty sure that's the game they lost. They didn't lose just one game this year, did they?
I think it was 7-3 final.
It was, yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was.
right.
Don't sure, but I'm
All right,
pretty
guys,
sure.
we'll come back in a minute. We'll finish up the first morning segment with Shelby and Burns, and we'll give you the schedule and preview for next week and the Athletic Association Championships on KDCBroadcasting.com.
Country Gold with Terry Clark.
I'm Terry Clark, inviting you to join me for Country Gold, where we play your favorites from the 80s and 90s. My guest this week will be the Oak Ridge Boys. They just released their 7th holiday album called Down Home Christmas. Plus, they're out on a Down Home Christmas tour. Get ready for the holidays with the Oak Ridge Boys and me, Terry Clark, this week on Country Gold.
Country Go with Terry Clark, Thursday afternoons at 1 o'clock on Carolina Country WCSL, 92.3 FM, 1590 AM, and online at KDCBroadcasting.com.
Isolated and alone?
That's how millions of Americans feel while experiencing a mental health crisis.
Need to talk? Our providers love to listen.
Call us now at 1-888-235-HOPE.
That's 1-888-235-4673.
Partners, improving lives and strengthening communities in North Carolina. 1-888-235-HOPE. 235-4673.
Zach Benfield of Burns High School is this month's McDonald's WhatsApp Shopper KTC Broadcasting Player of the Month. Zach is a senior at Burns High and is a kicker on the Burns football team. He also plays soccer and tennis and has a 4.5 grade point average. His advanced courses include AP World History, AP European History, AP English Literature and Composition, and AP U.S. Government and Politics. His extracurricular activities include Junior Civitans, the Beta Club, the Interact Club, the Environmental Club, Spanish, National Honor Society, and Mathematics Honor Society. Zach is a member of the Lawndale First United Methodist Church and volunteers for soup kitchens and youth retreats. He is also a member of the Boy Scouts of America. After graduation, Zach plans to attend a medical school and become a pediatrician. The McDonald's KTC Broadcasting WhatsApp Shopper Scholar Athlete Award is to recognize a student athlete not only for accomplishments in athletics, but also for overall achievements in the classroom and for overall school and community citizenship. At the close of another year, we gratefully pause to wish you a warm and happy holiday season. This wish from everyone at Flooring America in Kings Mountain and Carpet One Interiors in Ranlow. There's no more time fitting to say thank you and wish you a happy holiday season and a new year of health, happiness, and prosperity. Merry Christmas to all from everyone at Flooring America on Slater Street in Kings Mountain and from Carpet One Interiors on East Ozark Avenue in Gastonia.
remembering you at Christmas and sending wishes too. That's the beauty of the season, and it will bring special joy to you. This wish from everyone at Carolina Trust Bank. Carolina Trust Bank, bringing you the warmest wishes to you and your family that will last all season and throughout all of the new year too. Merry Christmas to all from everyone at Carolina Trust Bank, with offices in Lincoln, Gastonia, Forest City, Lake Wylie, Mooresville, Vale, Denver, Clover, Hickory, and Lake Lure. This Christmas, do what most people have done since 1952. Give a gift to that special someone from Straps Jewelers in downtown Lincoln. Customers keep coming back generation after generation. You'll find a large selection of fine quality jewelry for any budget and for most any occasion. And they feature in-house jewelry repair, and layaways are always welcome, and free gift wrapping too. So start your tradition today with a visit to Straps Jewelers, 315 East Main Street in downtown Lincoln. Online at strapsjewelers.com. Like them on Facebook too.
Hey Tiger fans, be sure and head to ClemsonTigers.com to check out the Clemson men's basketball schedule, as the next home game is right around the corner. While you are there, you can purchase tickets as well as take a look at promotional information and even purchase your gear for the game. It's available for you right there on ClemsonTigers.com. Join Coach Brownell and your Clemson Tigers as the action heats up in Little John Coliseum. We'll see you there.
Check out the great rates at Pine Mountain Golf Course. Play and ride weekdays for only $21. Seniors play and ride weekends for just $18. Or you can play and ride all day weekdays for only $28. Seniors can play and ride all day on weekends for $25. Make your tee time today by calling 828-433-4950. You'll love this challenging 18-hole par 68 course. The Pine Mountain Golf Course, adjacent to South Mountain State Park. Again, call 828-433-4950 for your tee time. Experience an eclectic mix of classic fine jewelry, designer originals, and custom creations at Facet Foundry Jewelry Studio, full-service boutique in Gastonia. Facet Foundry Jewelry Studio offers repairs and restoration, hand engraving, appraisals, gold and estate buying, and consignment. You get superior quality for all your jewelry, gemstone, and diamond needs. Facet Foundry Jewelry Studio, 530 South New Oak Road in Gastonia, online at facetfoundryjewelry.com.
Holiday greetings from your friends at Home Trust Bank in Cherryville, Forest City, and Shelby. We appreciate your support over the past year and look forward to helping with your what's next in 2020. May your holiday be filled with peace, joy, and your new year prosperous. Come by and visit us at 100 West Main Street in Cherryville, 351 Butler Road in Forest City, and 224 East Warren Street in Shelby. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. Here's hoping these days in December will bring gifts to be opened, carols to sing, lights in the windows, and a tree in the hall, and your happiest, merriest Christmas of all. This wish from everyone at West End Sales in Vale. We bring you tidings of joy and wishes of cheer, as Christmas is the happiest time of the year. Merry Christmas to all from everyone at West End Sales, Highway 18 North in Vale.
And we're back on Saturday Morning Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. They're all having a nice conversation. Kevin disappeared, so he might be somewhere. And yeah,
I'm bringing us in.
There we go.
Yes.
I'm about to say Hunter can't reach the button.
I had to slip and slide my way over here.
Yeah.
He needs the booster seat.
I need
Yeah.
Whoa now.
Oh,
Whoa now.
Oh,
Shots fired.
Shots fired there. I
Shots
told you,
fired.
you work at this radio station long enough, you would just be a caustic individual. This is what happened to me since about 2013 when I come over here and
Hey,
started hanging
listen,
out.
that's not just this. I think that's just how society is becoming, Jim. You
No,
know,
no,
that's
no,
our
no.
that's our sense of humor now these
You
days.
have to understand, I spend my whole day with a bunch of 9th and 10th grade sarcastic kids.
Exactly.
And then my kids say, "Boy, you're sarcastic." I said, "Do you realize I've done this for 23 years?" And this radio job, and then what do I do when I'm not on the radio? I'm officiating sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Think it out.
all day I'm in defense mode, like from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed. This is why I am the way I am, Terry.
So you're
agree.
basically a turtle. You're always in your shell, just waiting.
I'm not in
Just
my
waiting.
shell.
You're
I'm
on defense
out
mode
of
all
my
the
shell.
time.
But I was just telling, like during the break, Terry, like I get a text about 4:05 on Sunday after Cleveland leaves. I shouldn't even. Maybe it's my mother to tell me it's a good day. Maybe it's my brother. I haven't talked to him in a while. Tom, Cleveland is awful. Let me tell you why. I was like, is this Colin Cowherd or Terry? No, it's Terry. But I'm gonna tell you, you need to go on his show because Terry. I mean, it would just be. I've just never seen a man hate Cleveland. And Terry does the same thing. I think those two guys must be cut from the same cloth.
You know the problem I have here though, is I'll send texts sometimes and I'll never get no response. And then all of a sudden Kevin jumps on there speaking to somebody else about something that means nothing about what I said.
Well, Terry, the way it works is this. So we're in a group chat, but yours shows up separately. So I never know if it's going back to you or not.
Because Terry's phone was invented by Dr.
Stone
Emmett
Ages.
Brown.
Yeah, y'all gonna be wrong.
Dr.
coming
Emmett
up.
Brown came up with his cell phone.
His
That's
phone
why.
is still in the Stone Ages.
Get one of these, Terry.
Me and
Let go.
Andre sat there last night, and I told him I was going to change. And Andre said, "You're my friend." You know.
Let
So-
go some of that money, Terry. We know you got some of that money. Hold up.
Anyway,
You know, every Saturday morning we just need to have a Corey, and it's called Terry's Corner. He just rants.
I mean,
Well, now we're going to go to
that is every Saturday.
Scott Harrell's corner right now because he's waiting on us.
He is waiting on the line.
Coach Harrell, are you with us?
Yes, sir. I'm
There he
here.
is.
I am glad you are here, man. I'm going to tell you something. I like you, Scott. Me and you've known each other for a long time. Why did you have to beat my boy so bad last night?
We didn't. West Lincoln really played well. It wasn't as bad as you thought. They were up 10-9 after the first quarter, and I think Coach Wright being there, he'll have those young kids going on the right direction. He does a great job. Always staying positive. Great X and O guy. I think if they stick with it and learn from him as a young kids in 9th and 10th grade, you'll see much improvement over there at West Lincoln over the next couple of years.
Well, tell me how the game went last night, and I know you had a big time halftime thing also.
Yes, sir. We started out a little slow. Like I say, West Lincoln was up 10-9, and then over the second and third quarter, we finally got our transition game going a little bit. Defense has picked up, and between those two quarters, we scored 50 points in the second and third. It's just that first and fourth quarter, we scored 9 and 5. So we'd like to be up in the 80s and 90s, and naturally West would like to be in the 40s and 50s, and it's just kind of a tale of two things. But the kids responded and was able to, at the end of the night, get a victory, which I guess is the most important thing.
So how
we
did you?
also did honor those 1,000-point scorers last night, which was big for Cherryville. For a school our size, we've got 25 kids that have scored 1,000 points or more over their careers, and that would have to be at the top of about any list of any school in North Carolina, I would say.
And you
And we
almost
also
had
made
all of
sure-
them there last night, did you not?
We had a lot of them. Yes, there was a couple that live out of state. Thomas Beth and Ralph Roberts. They live in Texas, both of them. And living in Texas is, that's a little trip for them. And two of the men have passed away. But for the most part, we had a lot of the rest of them that were here. So it was good to see Terry Wisnett back, who was the all-time leading scorer. Justin Johnson came in from Tennessee. He's second on the list. Cameron Lovelace in Greensboro is fourth on the list. And a lot of great names on that list.
Did you room and board all these people at your house?
No, but I would take any of them in. They could
I
all
hear
live
you.
in my house. All those are great kids that have had the opportunity to coach and now are great young men out in the community where they live and giving back to their communities. And 4 of them are coaches themselves now with either youth sports or high school sports. So they all know if they needed a place to stay, they could come to my house.
Coach, I've got a lot of questions from former Cherryville basketball players on this list. If Andre's sitting here in my office, he's been texting and talking to a lot of the guys the last few days about coming in last night. Do you know who the single season scorer is?
Yeah, that's Terry Wisnett.
Junior or senior?
Junior.
Okay.
Terry Wisnett the second. Yeah, he had about 900 points his senior year.
Okay. You don't need to know anybody else on that list, too, like top 3 or anything like that off the top of your head. I know I'm putting you on the spot there on that.
No, but I would say it would be him and Justin Johnson would be the top 2. Tabark Bell.
I was about to ask about
Bell, his senior year.
Right. I was about to ask about
was
Tabark.
pretty hard up there
Because he averaged like 27 or 28, and he didn't start. And a lot of people were talking about like Tabark didn't start until his junior year, and some of the kids played like 3 and 4 years, and they were asking, well, who played this many years? And I'm like, I can't answer all those questions, but I do know Tabark. So I was wondering about Tabark's single season.
Junior and senior year, and he had 1,501 points. He's 6th all time.
Right.
But Tabark's senior year, when they went to the regionals, about the last 8 games of that year, he averaged about 36, 37 points a game.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He is one of the top athletes to ever come through this school, all around athletes.
I think that was one of the number one questions, Coach. Is about him was he the top scorer in the single season? And then another one I had. Of course, some of the older guys, some of you guys that played before the 90s, before the 2000s and everything, some of them want some asterisks because they didn't have the three-point line.
That's true. Some of them were saying that last night, that they didn't have the three-point line. I told them, don't worry, Terry Wisnett only hit 1 3-pointer his 9th grade year. And he was on there with Justin Johnson and Cameron Lovelace and Darius Howe. They was 6 kids on this list that played during that kind of same era,
right?
Which tells you how good that group really was.
And what did you play with any of the guys on the list? I don't remember exactly the years you were playing.
I graduated in '89.
Okay.
So in '88, Alan Griggs was on the list.
Gotcha. And you just missed Kenny Poston.
Yeah.
Then
I came in right after that state championship team.
Okay.
They graduated in '85. So that was Terry Wisnett, Tony Griggs, and Kenny Poston Sr. on the list,
right,
from the state championship team.
Now, you do know you got a mistake on that board, don't you?
I do.
Where's number 27?
Exactly. You're only the second person to notice that.
Really?
Kevin.
Really?
My athletic trainer was the one who pointed that out.
Yeah.
And
Andre noticed it. He said, whoever's 27 is going to be mad because they're not going to be on the board.
They're going to be 28. Yeah. I hope we have enough storied history that we'll get to somebody being 26, 27, 28.
Right.
Down.
Right.
And I do feel like we will. We've got some young kids. I feel like a Levante Hughes, our point guard this year, who has a good chance of making that list as long as he stays healthy.
Well, Coach, good luck, and we'll be following you on WCSL and the Ironman, and you guys quest this year in the 1A.
I appreciate it. It's funny you talk about those old guys coming back. If you came back over, it's funny. They go in the locker room, and we brought them in there, and they all, they could point out to those kids, hey, I sit right here in this locker, and looking at some of our young kids saying, man, I sit in Terry Wisnett's locker, or I sit in Justin Johnson's, or, Kenneth Harris sit right there. And it was pretty neat for our kids to get to be associated with those kids and see what they did.
Well, Coach, you need to go in there in that locker room and put like an asterisk over the top, such and such said here.
Yeah.
I mean, really. I mean,
some of them might not want to sit in that locker. That'd be a little intimidation.
Real quick.
I tell you what, the good Lord has blessed me a lot getting to do what I've done over the last 25 years, and these kids are like family to me, just like my own kids. So,
right.
The Lord's just been so good to me to let me get to coach and be around young people and keep me young.
Did we lose you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. No. I looked at JP for a second. Thought I lost you there. Coach, real quick before you go, a few comments about the girls' scores, all-time leading scores. You guys got 8 on the list. Ebony Johnson first. Pat Sigmund from 1958 is second. She definitely didn't play with a three-point line. Abby Owens, I went to school with Abby. Tasha Young on there. I remember her. Natalie Willis a few years after me. Shonda Young, Heather Hager, of course, and Lauren Graham.
Yes, Ebony, the all-time leading scorer. She was amazing, and she went to Gardner-Webb.
Right.
Abby Owens went to Walford to play college basketball. Hurt her knee down there, but her and Natalie Willis could really shoot it. And Coach Malden, Alan Malden, he coached all those girls right there on that group. but they were good, and you don't see many girls getting to score 1,000 points.
Well, I did have a few people ask me about Mika Lattimore on that, and I was like, I don't know if Mika shot enough threes. She outran everybody the whole time, but I don't know where she was on the list.
Yeah, I don't know. She wasn't 1,000 point scorer,
Right.
but she could run up and down. But like I say, those and sometimes for girls the scores are not as high.
Right.
And to add those up, you got to put up a lot of points to get to 1,000.
Somebody also asked me about Cam Dean, and I don't think Cam shot enough. She was
She
more.
didn't. She is a point guard, and she probably one of the all-time leading assists for the girls
Right.
side. But
Right.
the Heather Hager, she's a school board member over in Lincoln County, so
Right.
that was pretty neat that we were playing West Lincoln, and they got to, because some don't remember what they came from once you get later on in life, but we do enjoy honoring the past around here in Cherryville, and really letting those people who's given back come back in the community and let the young kids say, one day this could be you.
All right, Coach. We'll appreciate it, and congratulations, you guys, and good luck this season. We'll look forward to talking to you again.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks for all y'all do, and thanks for sending the radio out to cover it.
Yes, sir. Have a good
Thanks,
night,
Coach.
Have a good day, Coach.
All right, take care. See you, Terry.
All right, buddy.
Now,
Bye-bye.
Yeah, speaking of Laura Graham, I got to face her, and she was just a kid that could score. And when you play people like that, that's what you build your defense around.
JP.
How do we stop her?
JP, hang up. There you go. All right, we got to get to another break in just a second. I do want to mention a couple of names on here before we get off the list that I do. I mentioned Cam Dean when he was talking about the assist leader. Some of the best handles you've ever seen from a girl. Cross it, right, left, whatever, pass left. She's like Steve Nash almost, kind of like as a point guard. And I'm going to take credit for her, Terry. She grew up in my neighborhood, and I showed her everything I know. And I love Cam to death, and her brother Kevin, and those. But Cam's a wonderful girl. She.
Look at you,
like I
made
said,
him so mad he left.
The crossover, she was so good. Cross. Abby Owens, a great scorer. A couple of other real quick. He mentioned, Ralph Roberts, Marlon Roberts, Ronald Turner, Apollo Brooks. You remember him? He's one of the best dunkers. Cherryville's probably had. Lane, his son, is on the list. Darius Howard, Jimmy Graves. We said Jason Brown, Anton Little. The team I played against my senior year, Cherryville, Terry had 3,000 point scorers on it. One mother has 3,000 point scorers on the list.
How about that?
So 3,000 point scorers came from one mom on the list.
Mom taught them well.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
JP. 5 minutes. Give us 5 minutes. Okay. All right, Terry. Tom, let's talk about the Bulldogs real quick. I know we're way over time on high school sports today, guys, but we're going to get into it as much as we can. It's the 3A championships. We just talked a lot about the Kings Mountain stuff. That was just, like I said, that was a nuts game altogether. Bulldogs Lions. I thought it would be closer. My prediction was Bulldogs could win if they didn't turn it over. I didn't get to see the game at all. How the turnover situation go. I watched a little bit of it last night. It seemed like you talked about Isaiah Best throwing the ball. They did a good job. It's tough guarding 5 receivers in high school. And anytime Best gets room, he can hit one of those receivers. And Jahari Mitchell last night was outstanding as far as when I was watching it on the field. When you run, not only do you give up a pass, and then they run after it, and they're hard to take down. Big game from them. Keyone Pryor, 180 yards, and you lost rushing. Kings Mountain scored 6 touchdowns. If you go in the game, Tom, and I say Keywone's going to get $180 tonight on Shelby, you got to feel pretty decent about that, right?
Well, I rewatched a lot of the first game, and we were able to run the ball offensively. Now, it's not that Shelby's bad up front. They're not. But I felt our offensive line was really good, and we could run the ball, and we did run the ball. Weren't really able to throw it consistently. We did have a few nice throws. Twitty got one for about 25 yards on 3rd and 18. Had Silas Tate he got about a 25-yard pass on 3rd and 16. So there were some critical moments there where we did get some conversions. But there's that one pass in the moment, and a big pass, but consistency. Can you do it 3 and 4?
Twitty almost picked off a pass in the end zone.
Yes.
That could have been a big play. I did see that watching last night.
But really, what Shelby threw at us that they didn't do in the first game, or at least I don't remember in the first game, and rewatching I don't remember, was they went to a Wildcat set. And when they go Wildcat, they don't put Bess in the slot. They take Bess out, and they bring in extra beef.
Mm-hmm.
And that's effectively, and that's one thing that a lot of, teams will utilize is they can bring in the extra blocker. Yeah, Mitchell's getting the ball. He's not going to throw. He's going left, right, or middle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you to stop him. And Couldn't stop him.
That came out of Crest's playbook, didn't
Couldn't
it?
stop him. Yeah, couldn't stop him. He got 50 yards on 3rd and 5. And there were chances to get off the field. They couldn't, Terry. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I know you were there and you were watching, but when they would line up with them two big guys coming in over to the right side, I'm like, this guy's going to walk in. I mean, with so much push in there, whether there's 2 yards, 3 yards, I'm like, this is just, I mean, you might as well just say count it.
And a lot of teams like to do that, Terry. They don't really like to put that tight end up on the line.
Yeah.
Like they have that H-back or 2H. And in watching them, and during the game, I get so watching where the ball goes. But if you watch, those guys, not only are they big, they're athletic.
Yes.
Because they're either firing off the ball. I've got to go find the middle linebacker. I've got to go find the safety or the rover over here. Or I've got to get my tail from the right side all the way over to the left side and take out somebody because I'm the lead blocker. It's not like I had an interview with Landon Hoyle, and he was talking about blocking schemes. And he said a lot of people think it's just a bunch of big fat guys running into each other, and it's not. You got to have some athleticism and knowledge of football. And I thought that Shelby executed that very well. Like you said, when they brought in the extra blockers, they executed it very well. I've said a lot of nice things about Isaiah Bess. I know Isaiah. He was at Burns for a long time. That boy sat in my living room. I know him very well. He's a good young man. And just watching him warm up last night, Terry, I mean, he can just throw it. I mean, he's just got God has given the kid ability, and he can sit back there in the pocket, wait for his man to come open, and throw it in a bucket. And that's what it came down to. We tried to get pressure on him, didn't work. Yeah. I mean, and he was able to step up and find his man. And people look at, he has 45 negative rushing yards for the season. Well, one thing which you have to understand is sack yards in high school count against rushing. In pros, it's off the passing. So, maybe he takes a sack. Every once in a while, a sack is better than a stupid interception or something like that. You can tell that Isaiah has gotten smarter over the years. He's gotten more accurate. He doesn't want to run. He's 6'4" and can throw it 50, 60 yards, and he could throw the slants, he could throw the screen, he could throw it all. Why would you want to run? And that's exactly what he does. He sits back in the pocket. He surveys his field. His first read's always going to be Mitchell. He's got Daly. He's got Husky. He's got all kinds of weapons. Then you got Phillips, who can run the ball. Yep. They got a lot of weapons on offense. And long story short, they overwhelmed us. That's what happened.
They're tough to guard offensively, just ridiculously tough. Kind of like Kings Mountain. And them and Kings Mountain, I think, are great matchups defensively, offensively. And everybody forgets about the Shelby defense, Tom. And if they play good defense, it's tough to beat that combination.
Their defense is good. Mm-hmm. Their offense is great.
Right.
I mean, that's the Shelby team. Now, Holyfield, is what he is. I mean, everyone named Holyfield can just play ball. That's just the way it is. They're good. The Stites kids is pretty good. Hamrick on the line. I think he's number 24, big defensive line. They got another kid, 95. I can't remember his name. Just a big, huge kid there in the middle, big space eater. But not as their defense is good, and the defense is going to make enough plays. But their offense was great, and they scored first 5 times they had the ball. Kevin, what are you going to do? They score 5 times they had the ball, and Mitchell has 6 touchdowns. I mean, what are you going to do? Now everybody wants to say, he wasn't in program there. Whatever. All that aside, who's killing you. It's number 2. And
we had all the touchdowns.
Yeah. I mean. if Coach Wolf, if you can't stop number 2, guess who's getting the ball? Number 2 every time. And that's what happened. And it's like with a High Brighton game. You can't stop Pryor at 400 and something yards. You can't stop number 8. Guess who's getting the ball next play? Mm-hmm. I'll tell you, number 8 right here. Stop him. Yeah. And if you can't, that's what teams are going to do against you, and that's what happened at Burns last night.
Well, outstanding season. When they moved them down to 2A, we talked about it a lot. I predicted this exact game, Shelby Burns, because Shelby won the championship last year, but Burns beat them. So I was joking with the Shelby folks and everybody. Hey, Burns is the 2A champions this year, and then they beat you twice this year. They got it back. They earned it. They did it, and I just thought that those two teams, Cleveland County, the 2A, you guys are going to present so much trouble for everybody else. And I'm excited to see Keewan's back. Everybody at Kings Mountain's almost back. I know Shelby's going to lose some seniors, Jahari and Isaiah, but they reload.
Keewan's not back next year.
Oh, I thought he was a junior. No. Sorry, never mind. Keewan's not back. Well, Kobe will be back. I thought Keewan was still a junior. The
difference between that team from about 14 or 15 months ago and the one last night is pressure doesn't bother Bess now like it did then. And that's his progression. That's his progression.
You can see it in 10th grade, a little happy feetish. But you know, I'm sitting there thinking, them going, what is it, 6 championship turn?
Yeah.
So good luck to the guys down east to deal with that. Shelby's going to be tough to deal with. And so we got to get out of here and get another break. Real quick, Tom, I got some geography for you for Kings Mountain's game last night. I pull up Burns and stuff during the break. We had 4 countries watching last night. The United States was number 1.
He loves to do this.
Number 2.
He loves to do this.
India. Had 159 computers in India watching last night, checking out Kings Mountain football. 159 people in India were watching.
But there's probably a monastery over there.
South Africa had 14 viewers in South Africa last night. Huh. And we had 10 in Indonesia. We had no Canada and Mexico last night, but we had India, Africa, and Indonesia. Let's break down the United States.
No viewers in Canada?
It didn't list them, so I guess not. Here's the by states, our biggest viewers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12 states watched the Kings Mountain game last night. 12 states. Had 13 folks in Pennsylvania, 15 in Hawaii.
Think of that.
19 Missouri, 20 New Jersey, 56 Virginia, 61 New York, 132 Mississippi, 134 in Florida. There's a lot of schools in Florida, aren't there?
Yeah, there's a few.
Huh. I'm sure someone could use a Keewan Pryor. Like someone offer that kid. Like if he don't get it offered by Appalachian State, I mean, we've got ties up that way, and then we know how fast he is. My goodness, put him on a punt return at first, and you feed him the ball. Tennessee, 300 some views. South Carolina, 400. Georgia was number 2, and they seem to be a lot of fans of Georgia. About everything we do, Terry, we get a lot of Georgia folks watching. They were number 2. And then, of course, North Carolina, number 1 in viewership last night.
I think a lot of them are like, hey, I've heard about this Pryor kid. I'm sure it's a little bit of that, or I've heard of this Pace Hour kid, or blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I'm sure that's getting these kids exposure.
All right,
it's,
JP.
It's more than hot dog money. It's
Let's
about
go to
kids
break,
getting exposure.
and then we're going to come talking about the future NFC East champion Washington Redskins. Yeah?
So you mean there's a chance?
There's a chance.
There's a chance.
We're going to talk about, how about them Cowboys, Terry?
That's right. How about them Cowboys?
They got the same number of losses as the Browns. How about them Dogs, Tommy? Talk about Robbie Roop's Eagles. They're not flying at all. Trying to think about all the fans in KTC real quick before we go down the list.
And is Ron Rivera going to end up
one
of the 3 NFC East teams coach?
We've got to talk about Panthers. We got to talk about conference championships Saturday today, and more coming up on KTCBroadcasting.com.
Straps Jewelers in downtown Lincoln is having a Cyber Monday special. Gift certificates can be purchased at 20% off the face value. If you can't make it to the store, just give them a call at 704-735-8484 or 704-735-7112 on Monday, December 2nd. You can pay over the phone, and they will hold your gift certificates until you can pick them up. Don't miss this huge event to jumpstart your Christmas shopping and save big at your hometown jewelers this holiday season. And don't forget about the holiday sale November 29th and 30th. Get 20% off both days, plus doorbuster specials both days from 9 to 11 a.m. at Straps Jewelers in downtown Lincoln.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and I'm sure you're tired of getting in and out of your car in the rain, sleet, and snow. That problem is no problem at all with a call to Acre Enterprises in Cherryville. They have a wide variety of carports for tough winter weather, and come in now for special pricing on new 12-foot 3x12 metal roofing. Available in many colors to choose from at only $20 a sheet. At Acre Enterprises, located at 1220 Shelby Highway, Highway 150 West in Cherryville, right across from Food Line. Call 704-435-9525. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Kings Mountain's Home for Christmas Parade is Saturday, December 7th at 3 p.m. in downtown Kings Mountain. This special parade features over 100 entries, including Santa Claus himself, and country music recording artist and Kings Mountain native Jimmy Wayne will serve as Grand Marshal. After the parade, Kings Mountain will host Home for Christmas celebration with Santa's Workshop, a downtown holiday market, winter wonderland, fantasy light show, and Christmas lights at Patriots Park. Home for Christmas celebration also runs December 14th and 21st, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. Don't miss Home for Christmas in Kings Mountain.
Christmas is a time for kids, and once again this year, Renato Auto Mall in Shelby is working to make this Christmas a little brighter for the underprivileged kids in our area with their annual Christmas toy drive. Now through December 14th, you are invited to bring a new unwrapped Christmas toy and drop it off. For Toys for Tots, drop it off at Renato Honda, and for the Salvation Army, drop it off at Renato Kia. Better yet, drop a toy off at both locations. Help make this Christmas a little brighter during the annual toy drive at Renato Honda and Renato Kia, both at Renato Auto Mall, 4423 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby.
The $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway is back, and you could be the winner of $1,000 from KTC Broadcasting and the What's Up Shopper. All you have to do is register at one of our participating merchants, including Norris Merchandise on Highway 18 south of Shelby, Love's Insurance on East Main Street, Lincoln, Okies Tire and Recapping on West Warren Street, Shelby, Chop Shop Dog Salon on East King Street, Kings Mountain, Mi Pueblito Mexican Restaurant on West Warren Street in Shelby, At the Great Outdoors on Highway 150 East in Cherryville, Holly's Flowers, West Graham Street, Shelby, Medical Center Pharmacy, East Academy Street, Cherryville, Webb Chemical and Paper Company, West Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, at Helm Security on East Sycamore Street in Lincoln, Red Bridges Barbecue on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby, and at Shope Shoes on East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. The drawing will be held Friday, December 20th. Business qualifiers will win a Christmas teddy bear. Entry rules may vary from store to store. Don't miss the annual $1,000 Christmas cash giveaway from KTC Broadcasting and the What's Up Shopper.
And we're back on Sam Moore Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang.
Good morning.
Yep.
Sound weird.
Good morning.
Weird, kinda
Good morning.
Good morning.
Like a buzz. Do you hear that buzz, or is that just my headset?
I think it might be your headset.
These headsets have always had
You know,
a
you
little
pulled
small
this
buzz.
up. I'm looking at it.
Right.
And it makes me mad. And the only reason it makes me mad is because I was sitting here vouching that Oregon should be one of the teams that makes the Final Four. And then what did they do a week or two ago? They lost to Arizona State. That gave them their second loss. And I was like, well, that takes them out of contention. Utah's the team out of the Pac-12 in contention then. That could almost make the Final Four. And guess what? Oregon beats them. So Oregon doesn't know what they're doing.
Well,
they don't want to play for a big game.
That game was on late last night, but
Yeah,
I'll
it
tell you
was.
what, there was probably a lot of liquor stores in Oklahoma that got hit up about 1 o'clock in the morning
Yeah.
celebrating that one because that opened the door for Oklahoma.
Oklahoma
to get
or
in.
Baylor.
Liquor stores close at 9, Tom. Obviously, you're not in that scene.
Not in Oklahoma. Not in Oklahoma.
Now, they might have some old boys down the country road that have a refrigerator that stays open 24 hours.
That's
at
exactly
7, but
right.
I don't know the actual the stores.
Hey,
Probably.
well, let's just say the bars were hopping. All
Now,
right?
what
Norman, Oklahoma.
What I
want to
know, and I want my college football aficionados in here to explain to me how this all works, because I ask every week.
Okay, don't ask about the 11th seed team.
I'm going to ask about
I don't know.
the AP Top 25.
Uh-huh.
How is Alabama ranked ahead of Auburn?
What do you mean?
Didn't Auburn just beat
Oh,
them?
in the AP.
Two words.
Oh.
2 words. Nick Saban.
Oh, you're talking about the AP. I'm
just
looking
said
at
the
the
AP.
I thought I was looking at the college football
Listen,
playoff
this is a radio
ranking.
show,
I'm like,
Hunter.
no, they're not. They're ranked once behind it.
The playoff rankings got them at least kind of
That's
right.
the one
on
that everybody pays attention to right now.
We know we can't upset Nick
But
Saban.
that plays right into what Tom's saying. That's the Associated Press.
Yeah.
They all love Nick Saban.
Yeah.
They don't want to because they know he's not
How do
afraid
you write
to
a
blast
ballot
them.
and put all Alabama 2 spots ahead of Auburn on that? I just what's the point of playing the game?
Auburn.
What is the point?
Auburn beat them at. No, wait a minute. That was at
That
Auburn.
was at Auburn.
That was at Auburn.
I don't
Okay,
care
that
where
was at Auburn.
They won
Okay.
the game.
And Nick Saban wanted to cry about it after the game was over. And to me, that's weakness on Nick Saban. Because I'm thinking, look, you had every opportunity to win this ball game. It did not come down to them subbing out and then and catching you guys off guard. That's the name of the
before you
game,
say
is to
another-
outsmart your opponent.
Before you say anything else in that game, if Nick Saban doesn't want to lose that game, he probably shouldn't give up 40 points.
That's what I'm saying. The score was
You
48
give
to
up
45.
10, you win. You give up 17, you win. You give up 40, you're probably going to get beaten. It ain't the referee's fault.
Both his
Like,
losses
he's not-
involved more than 40 points.
Yes.
LSU
Yeah.
got 46 on them.
That was a game last week when I was sitting there watching. That's when I sent my text. Y'all got to be watching this. This is unreal.
Right, yeah.
I don't like high-scoring games. I despise it. But they were scoring on plays that you would absolutely think there's no way that can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like no defense was out there.
I
you
saw
know.
a game last night that was a defensive struggle, and there was 105 points scored.
Yeah.
There might have been 200 yards in the game, and we got 105 points. But yeah, that's the high school. Looking at the rankings coming up,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're setting it up. You know, I don't know. Should Georgia still be ranked 4, Terry?
No.
Should Oklahoma be 4? Is that who should be in 4 right now?
If it was me,
Big
since
12
Utah
best team in the Big
got
12?
me, Georgia should not be number 4. Y'all, they lost to South Carolina. I don't understand. And even
We've
then-
beaten Florida.
Well, I don't care.
We've beaten Auburn.
I do not care. When Dabo got last week and says, heck, we just beat them.
I would have-
somebody else lost to them, but if we would have lost to them, we'd have been 20th.
Yep. On the outside looking in, I would say I would have Oklahoma. See, I'm the
and
one.
we beat Notre Dame.
I'm the one.
I'm looking at 3 teams that are already ranked in the top 15
I
that
look
we've
at
beaten
it
this year.
From an outside perspective. I would like for it to be all conference champions, and that be the top 5.
I think that's what they're
And then
moving
if you
to.
can't get in the top 5, that's the only way to be in the top 5. Then you can rank them after that. That's what I would like. So looking at it from that perspective, Oklahoma should be 4. And which one am I missing? A Pac-12 team?
Well, if you're going to go conference championship, Oregon just won it last night.
Well, then
they'd
Oregon would be 5.
They'd be the 2-loss,
So I'd
only
have Oregon
2-loss
at
conference
5,
champion.
Oklahoma at 4,
And
Georgia
top
at
5.
6, 7, or 8, or somewhere in there. And then if Georgia can beat LSU, then you can put them on. But I think they're going back to this, still trying to squeeze 2 SEC schools out of this, even if it's not Alabama.
Well, if
Georgia's
then
got to lose
the
today.
veil is totally.
Well, I was going to say, if Georgia upsets
That's all matters
LSU
today,
today,
yeah.
2 are in.
All the-
2 are in.
Wait a minute. Say that again.
If
Yeah.
Georgia
Yeah, if
upsets
Georgia
LSU
wins-
today.
Wrong answer.
They're putting them both in.
No, I'm just saying, if Georgia upsets LSU today,
They're
both
both
of them
in.
are in.
They're both
LSU and Georgia are in.
But Georgia's not going to upset LSU.
Yeah, that's
I know.
probably correct.
All right, let's pick the
A
games.
buddy asked me earlier this week. It was before the line moved. It was that LSU was only favored by 3 over Georgia. Now it's moved. I think LSU's favored by 7. I told him, I said, look, don't bet until like Friday because that's when the line is true. I said, but I'm taking LSU all day. I'm a Georgia fan, but I'm gonna tell you what, LSU's offense is too good. It's too good.
I'm hoping for the sake of the sport, and this is why I pull for a little insanity. I want LSU to win, have the 3 undefeated teams, Clemson and
Then Oklahoma.
I hope
No,
Baylor beats
I want
Oklahoma.
Baylor to beat Oklahoma. So the voters, see, that hurts Terry's heart that we have to put not the champion in because they're not Oklahoma. It's not the right name. Is that what it is, Terry?
Baylor shouldn't be in there. We don't want to see no game where the final score 75-72.
The Big 12. Don't be mad because NC State
Terry,
can't
I'm
do
going to
that.
be honest.
But
It
the
doesn't
Big
matter
12
who gets
champions
in
should
at the
be
4
in.
spot. They're
Whether
getting ready to get routed.
Terry, as an NC State fan, you should be pulling for Baylor because you want the teams that aren't just the name to get in, and if it's Oklahoma and it's just based on the names,
Well,
that's just,
Oklahoma's
that's not
been
good
there for the
sport.
past 3 years, and every year they've
They get
lost
blown
in the
out, don't they?
semifinal.
Oklahoma needs to be there on account of Hurts. And then he can look back and say, Saban, where are you at?
Well, we'll find out.
I can agree with that, but if
That
it's
is
just
true,
name
too.
alone, no.
That's
But I
funny.
want to see Baylor get in,
All right.
just so it's not, a repeat
Right.
basically of what we've seen all the time.
I mean,
Well,
you
it's-
could close your eyes and pick the 4 to 5.
Oh
almost
yeah,
every year. We
But
did it before the season started. How
Here's where everybody's up in arms, though. Team LSU is up in arms because they don't think they should be behind Ohio State, and this is why. Whoever's got the number 1 seed has got a substantially easier game than whoever has the 2 spot.
Oh,
because
yeah.
whoever is in 2 is going to play Clemson.
But you're going to have to play Clemson eventually anyway. You
Oh, I
play them in
know.
the first game or you play them in the
I
second
know,
game.
but
you're
that
gonna-
there's a difference between just making the semifinal and playing them in the
Yeah.
national championship.
But I hate the way they've took the ACC on account of Clemson, and they've done everything in the world to try to get them out of that top 4. If you'll just mess up one time.
Oh,
you
well, I
know.
would. Well, I'm gonna tell you what. If Clemson would have lost one time this year, I would have kicked them out by now.
Well,
And
yeah,
this is
they know
why.
that.
And this is why they have played absolutely nobody. part of that's
No,
because the
it's true.
ACC is horrible.
See, but-
ACC out of the Power Fives might be the worst
It could be this
But
year.
I don't understand.
this year. It's usually not.
Why'd you play Furman last year?
Uh,
Why'd
yeah.
you play in Walford this
I
year?
can.
Yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
No, I think what's
Nobody will play us, Tommy.
Well, you
Nobody-
just took my point away.
Well, there's 200
That's what
Division
you
One
did.
teams, and they won't play us.
This
Ohio
is.
State will go down there and
That's
play.
what I'm saying. Like,
Ohio
aren't
State
there
will
other
go
teams
down.
in other conferences?
They'll
that
go
Let me tell you
play?
something.
Come
This
on,
is
shut
what
up,
this is why I
coaches.
think they have to go to 8 teams.
Right.
Because then it's okay if you lose one because your season's not over.
Yeah.
You can afford to play a tough conference game. That's why I picked LSU to beat Alabama. LSU going down that road had played a ranked Texas. They had played a ranked Auburn. They had played ranked teams where Alabama was just going scotch-free against FCS teams in the lower half of the SEC. So they had no idea what was going to come when they had to face elite competition. You got to play good teams, people. I'm sorry. You got to.
Well, Clemson is playing an elite team. Virginia today.
All right.
What's the spread? What is the spread
I
on
think,
that?
I think it's
conference
28.
championship?
It's 28. I think
We're
it's
gonna talk in a
26.
minute.
I think it's
You
26.
played Pittsburgh last year, and then you played Virginia this year.
Exactly.
Now, wait a minute. Virginia has the same number of losses as Auburn, Michigan, Iowa. They got less losses than USC. Just because the AP voters don't put the AC school, the second best AC school is the 22nd.
That's what I'm talking about. They put them in there. It's just way down there.
It's just,
I want you to think about. I want you to think about that. Shows how bad the ACC is. They only
Yeah.
have 2 teams ranked,
So why
and one of them is like
so why do
almost
people
out.
like Terry and roll their eyes at me, laugh at me when I say Appalachian State should be in the ACC when they got 10 teams that aren't even ranked? Why, Terry? They're that's 21st. They're better than every team in the ACC.
I don't.
But Clemson.
I think
Look,
Appalachian
but
would do
Clemson.
great in the SEC.
If they put y'all in the ACC,
So we
and
shouldn't be
I'm,
ranked?
I'm just
Is that
going to
what you're
go by
saying?
this year.
We shouldn't be
If
ranked.
they put y'all in the ACC, y'all finish second.
Thank you, Terry.
Hey,
you.
Listen, it's,
Thank you, Terry.
That's what I said. this year.
today is 28.5 point favorite, the Clemson Tigers.
The question
Yeah.
is, does
What
Virginia
kind
cover?
of championship game features a 28.5
I had the
point
opportunity to go to this game today, but then
There
I
you go.
realized
I'm
That
not
was
going
not,
to
that was not an
Why?
opportunity.
Why?
That was not an opportunity.
yeah, I mean,
So
why?
here's the opportunity. If you own a small business and your colors aren't orange,
yeah,
buy a ticket, go stand in the stands today. Your shirt will get on TV.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Green, purple. No, not purple. Clemson's there.
Yeah.
Wear something green
Yeah.
or not
Stand
orange.
out.
You will stand out in
Stand
that crowd
out.
of all that orange.
Think about it. It used to
Small
be
business folks,
ACC
be
used to be
thinking.
really dominated by 4 teams at the top. Well, Clemson's just now started to become good. So really 3. It was Virginia Tech when Beamer Ball was there, Florida State when Jimbo Fisher was there, and some of the Miami teams. Now is Clemson, and everybody else has just dropped off the face of the earth. And we're an ACC country, so we can really talk
Listen,
about
honestly,
it. Like,
there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 teams that are good, and then the rest of it's pretty much the same.
yeah.
That game there
If
reminds
App
me.
could be the second best team in the ACC, it's pretty much the same from teams 20th to 70th. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, that game right there reminds me of back in the 80s when Virginia and Purdue were playing in the Peach Bowl in Georgia, and somebody gave me some tickets, and guess what? This young and dumb person went down there, and I'm sitting in the stands going, what am I doing here? You know, I don't like neither one of them. You know?
Yeah.
All right,
I've done that.
Let's pick the games. Baylor 7 at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's favored by 8.5. $29
Oklahoma.
at Jerry World.
They put
Baylor
their
had
stuff
them
in
on
it.
the ropes when they first played. They just pulled an Atlanta Falcons. I'm going to take. I said it last night when I took Burns. This is a heart pick. I want to see Baylor upset Oklahoma.
You're picking with your heart.
I'm picking with my heart. Not with my head. I'm picking with my heart. I'm going to
Well,
take Baylor.
I watched the second half of that game, and Baylor's defense is pathetic.
That's what
Oklahoma's
I'm
ain't much better,
saying.
though. They let them
I'm
score
not.
like
I'm not
30.
saying. I'm not saying it is, but it's
Yeah.
better than Baylor's. I think I could start for Baylor's defense.
Yeah, you
That's
wanna
how
go
bad
try?
it is.
Wanna try?
I might be a 45-year-old freshman starts on defense for Baylor. They're not very good on defense.
Cincinnati at Memphis today. 9.5 points favorites is 17 Memphis over 20 Cincinnati.
I'm going Cincinnati.
Are we on to Cincinnati?
Hold
That's
on a
where I'm
second.
going.
Memphis and Cincinnati played last week, did they not?
I don't know. Even if they did, they play today
So they play again today.
That's kind of like Baylor and Oklahoma have already played, but they're going to play it again.
Okay, yeah, I know they played last week because they were both ranked, and that might have been like one of those cross
They
division.
sure did.
games.
And
Memphis won
that game.
34-20.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
if history has taught me anything, it's that it's hard to beat. It's the same team twice.
In 2 weeks in a row?
In 2 weeks in a row. But you know what? I'm going to ride high with Memphis. This is practically going to be a home game. It's in Memphis.
I thought I was having like a Groundhog Day. I was
No,
going to go put a
you
bunch of
did
money
good.
on Memphis, but I like Cincinnati. I think former Ohio State coach
Look
Luke
at that.
Fickell's going to
Look
get
at
the
that.
job
Look at that
done.
rank and look at their record. That's I don't like that.
Cincinnati wins.
Hawaii, 9-4 at Boise. Who'd y'all
I'll
pick
take
real quick?
Boise
Cincinnati
State.
or
Boise
Memphis?
State.
I'll take Memphis.
Hunter took Memphis. Terry, who'd you take?
I
Cincinnati or
took
Memphis?
Cincinnati.
All right, next game is Hawaii at Boise State. Is everybody picking the Broncos?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think if they win, hey, you're gonna have to be in consideration to be a 12-1 team. Like they'll have conversations about them.
They'll get a New Year's Day bowl.
That's
Hawaii's
exactly
having
right.
to leave the country, so they come over here to get
Terry, what was State's record this year, Terry?
That's besides the point.
What was that? What was that
All right,
final score?
Everybody,
against-
one-word answers: Virginia at Clemson.
Clemson.
I'm not even picking that.
That's 9 words. Hunter.
Yeah.
I'm not even picking that.
Let's see. Louisiana comes to the freezing cold today. Snows on the ground in Boone.
They need to play that at
11
a neutral site.
Yeah,
No,
that
no,
needs
they
to be at a
don't. No, they
neutral
don't.
site. You're having to
Absolutely
go
not.
to
Listen,
up in
you
the
got to learn
mountains
your
to
way.
play the
You
game.
got to earn your way here, boys. The Cajuns.
Rajon,
The
Cajun,
Cajuns are not coming to Boone.
go Rajon.
They're not running some.
Cajun.
They're not running some
Appalachian
gimmicky
wins.
offense with 9 overtimes from the 10-yard line.
That being said, I'm picking Appalachian.
Me too.
Appalachian.
How in the world can you play at home for the championship?
It's the first time I
You
picked
earned it.
Appalachian.
It is,
Hopefully
Tom.
it jinxes
They're
me.
11-1, Tom, and Tom just now picked them. Georgia.
LSU.
I didn't even get it out. All right, Hunter.
LSU.
Just say LSU. There you go.
You can't even make yourself
I'll tell
talk
you
yourself
something.
into this one.
I can't. You know why? You know why? Because this is my nickname for him.
'Cause you got me in
Joe
South Carolina?
Heisman. Okay, Joey Heisman.
From Ohio.
Okay, yeah, I know, whatever. LSU, Joe Heisman shows up in big games. You know who doesn't? Jake from State Farm. Okay, that's who doesn't. So I'm rolling with LSU. Go Tigers. That's what Coach O
By the way,
says.
thanks for going with Fromm. We appreciate that at Ohio State.
Yeah, I know you do, and I didn't. I wanted Coach Smart to pull a Dabo mid-season and pull out like he did Kelly Bryant for Trevor Lawrence. No, they played Fromm over Justin Fields. Now look at him.
We appreciate that.
So
I'll take Oregon.
I'll
It's a little
give
too late.
Y'all take Oregon. I'm gonna give Tom, not Tom, but Terry and Hunter a chance to respond to this game like they did to Hunter's Bulldogs. Ohio State at Wisconsin. Ohio State favored by 16 and a half
they
and
win by
24 degrees
16 and a
weather,
half.
but they're going to
No.
be indoors.
I do not care. Ohio State
Ohio
wins.
State.
I think it's close for a while, like the Michigan game. Now Michigan went right down the field on Ohio State and scored.
Yeah.
And
Until
I
the
and,
first
I,
quarter
and, I and I think that when you're Ohio State or an LSU or a Clemson, you've got the bullseye on you, and they've got their script ready to go, and they've got game film from the first game. So don't expect a 38-10 game again.
I'll give you one of
or
these. I'll give you one of
38-7.
these. OH.
IO
There you go.
is going to win.
That's exactly
But I
right.
think I want to say Wisconsin has a good chance to cover that
All right.
point spread. I would stay away from this. If I was a betting man, I'm not going near this game.
Reinhardt and Stefani picked the same teams across the board.
That's what
picked
champions do.
Hunter.
Generation X,
Terry,
baby.
Terry, y'all don't start bragging about it until the games have been played.
Generation X, baby.
Okay, Boomer.
The two games that y'all did not get agree on. Terry and Tom took Oklahoma, and Hunter took Baylor.
Yeah, and I took.
And then Hunter
Memphis.
took Memphis, and Terry and Tom took Cincinnati. So the next week that'll be the games. All right, high school next week we got Cherryville at West Lincoln. Terry coming back up, put you guys back on the radio again, and Crest at Shelby on WHS next Friday night. Have they named They haven't named the locations yet, have
No.
you? Have you seen any
Still has to be
notifications
announced.
on
Well, this
that?
was last night. Now,
Right.
it could be done today.
So Shelby will play either at 11 or 3 next weekend, folks. We'll have a special Saturday morning pregame
Yep,
show.
to be announced.
I'll probably, if it's at 11, I definitely won't be here for the morning show. I'll probably be at Wake Forest unless I can somehow talk Hunter into that, and I'll be in. We'll figure that out. Figure out what I want to do. I've been to 5 Shelby State Championships. I got to spread the wealth and let someone else do one, right? They have not put the TBA. Tom says no. They haven't put the TBA.
Good.
You'll be here for the morning show. It's still to be announced on the athletic website. So, folks, I'm sure we'll have that out shortly. All right, JP, let's take a break. You ready? We're gonna come back, talk NFL, standings, stats, playoffs.
Talk about the #1 Cowboys.
Yes.
Joke. Gosh, a joke. What is it, April Fool's already?
If they were in the... I don't know. Anyway, we'll be back in a minute. KDSBroadcast.com.
It's time to tee it up at Kings Mountain Country Club. Open to the public 7 days a week. Play and ride 18 holes Monday through Friday for $28. Play and ride 18 holes on weekends for $40. And seniors 55 and older can play and ride Monday through Friday for just $24. For your tee time, call 704-739-5871 for the Kings Mountain Country Club. 100 Country Club Drive in Kings Mountain. Santa Claus is coming. Yes, Santa Claus is coming to It's Your Feet Plus in downtown Cherryville, Saturday, December 21st from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. Bring the kids and come on out for a special visit with Santa. And remember, It's Your Feet for gift certificates. It's a gift that anyone would love. But plan now to see Santa Saturday, December 21st, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. at It's Your Feet Plus, located in the Pink Building on East Main Street in downtown Cherryville.
Unless the Lord builds a house, its builders labor over it in vain. This is from Psalms 127, and this verse is what Key Builders in Lincoln is built on. Key Builders in Lincoln is large enough to do what the big boys do, but small enough to be personal. Bring your own plans or visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and view theirs. They have homes for everyone, so call your local hometown builder. Key Builders, 704-735-0040, or visit their office at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. Like them on Facebook, too.
It's time to get your Christmas party booked at the Captain's Cap Family Fish House with locations in Gastonia, Belmont, and Denver. Since 1981, the Captain's Cap has been serving this area with the finest in seafood. Enjoy their big salad bar, fresh seafood dishes, along with steak and chicken plates. Start your family tradition with a stop at the Captain's Cap Family Fish House on Linwood Road in Gastonia, on Highway 16 in Denver, and on Park Street in Belmont. Visit them online at thecaptainscap.com.
Remodel and get rewarded with a Cafe Appliance Suite combination from Hendrick Appliance in Shelby. Now you can receive up to a $1,600 rebate with the purchase of select Cafe Appliance Suite combinations. Come in for all the details. Remodel and get rewarded up to $1,600 with the Cafe Appliance Suite combinations from Hendrick Appliance, 1241 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby. Online at hendrickappliance.com.
There you go, Ann. Your new account is now open. Just one more little thing.
Here's your card.
What was that?
It's my new bank. Every time I turn around, I get hit with another fee.
You need to get an account at Carolina Federal Credit Union.
She's right.
Tired of getting hit by bank fees? Switch to Carolina Federal Credit Union today. Make those pains go away.
Here's your receipt.
And we're back on Saying More Sports Talk with Kevin and the gang. We're going to wait for them to get their headphones on.
They do.
Yeah, they are.
Hey, good morning. Hey,
good morning.
Real quick, we do want to make an announcement. We do get some complaints from here to time about, our announcers, cameramen and stuff. Folks, every Wednesday at noon, we have tryouts for announcers and cameramen from noon to 6. If you pass, and we'll put you in the internship program.
Hey, Kevin, shut up about that. I like my job. If you start having tryouts, somebody's going to replace me.
As bad as you are, Tom, I know that. So tryouts are.
Am I out of the intern process yet?
Yes, tryouts are noon to 6 on Wednesdays. You get paid minimum wage, and you have to give up every Friday night for 14 weeks from 4 o'clock until midnight.
And be up here at the crack of dawn on Saturday morning.
Someone got mad at Juwan last night because he put his socks on.
What?
Someone got mad at Juwan last night because he put his socks on.
He did get on there and apologize.
I don't understand.
Between plays, Juwan had to add an extra pair of socks on his feet, and he didn't zoom in for the next play. It was just that you could see the play, and people complained.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I did one time. I'll tell you what I did one time. They zoomed in on the Shelby Golden Line logo. I was like, I'm tired of looking at that. So I clicked over to the clock.
Well, Trent was the cameraman.
I know. But then the kickoff went, and I'm calling the kickoff, but it's still on the clock. And then I was like, I better switch that over, and I did. But I can imagine, like, all the text.
Turn the channel.
What's wrong? We can't see the play, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? Let me reach into my wallet so I can get the money to send you back your subscription fees. Oh, wait a minute. It didn't cost you anything
free
to watch this broadcast. I'm going to tell you what.
Yeah, I responded to the guy last night to buy a ticket.
You know what? Yeah, buy a ticket. I was like, I don't think that I'm Reese Davis or anything, but I think his check's got a little more zeros at the end of it. So, you know, I can see you complaining about him. We're trying to do our best, and people act like
we're human.
I want people to understand something too. A lot of us are almost. I know that we do get cut a check for this, but it's basically we are doing this on our time. You know, like
we do it for fun.
Yeah,
we do it. We do it for fun.
Hey,
would you rather bag groceries at Food Line or work here? I mean, come on.
I do both. I do both. Actually, to be honest with you, I work at Publix in Gastonia, cashier, and I work here too. Okay,
there you go.
Because you got to remember, I
he had to
started
throw
here.
you under the bus after your earlier comments.
I started here as an intern, and now look where I'm at.
There you go. Yeah,
still back.
Yeah, you're being sassy like the rest of us. JP, pretty soon you'll be at the table with us.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that, to be honest with you.
But no, I mean,
you asked me one thing about sports, and I probably would feel like, what?
I've cut off the comments on the broadcast.
That's something that they teach you is like
the keyboard
you can't
warriors
look at
just
the
can't be nice to people, and it's not because you want them to be fun though. Like I like it when they're having fun and making comments and getting into the game. Those are fun, and then you always got the one or two people that are idiots and they can't control themselves, or they're Hulk Hogan behind the keyboard and all that other stuff.
This is what
I'd rather just not even listen to it.
Well, we had the comments though, like somebody put there, "You suck," and like somebody said, "Hey Tom, somebody told you sucked." I'm like, I teach teenagers. I get told I suck about 3 times a day, so I mean, it really doesn't really bother me.
I told Joanne that a couple of weeks ago about on the camera, and I said somebody online says you're terrible at your job right now. He said, tell them the ladder's unlocked. They can climb up here and tell me themselves.
Oh, yeah?
The ladder's unlocked is what he said. Is
that some WWE reference?
Like I said, we give full refunds to dissatisfied customers.
Every time. 100% of the time we've given full refunds. So if you are dissatisfied on your broadcast, we will give it back, right, Terry? Every time.
Every
All
time.
Right. NFL. I know the show's almost dang over. Some notes. Consecutive games in Bears Super Bowl history with 3 passing touchdowns and 70% completion. It's only happened 3 times in Bears history. In
do we have to name who
passing
did it?
quarterback history 3 times? No, I said that wrong. It's only happened twice in Bears history.
Was it Jay Cutler?
You can name the 2 quarterbacks. Go.
Jay Cutler?
Nope.
It's not?
No. Only 3 times. 3 touchdowns
Jim
and
McMahon.
70% completion. Nope.
Rex Grossman.
Steve Fuller.
In the history of the team, it never happened until 2018.
Mike Thompson.
It's Mitch Trubisky.
Mitch Trubisky is the answer to both of them.
Really?
In the history of the Bears quarterback.
He looked good against Dallas.
Yeah.
Hey, that fake handoff when he ran in, Terry. Could Chad Surratt do that real quick before we move on? No, he
do
couldn't.
not. No, I thought we were going to get on broadcast.
Don't do that. He just made first team all ACC linebacker.
No. Don't encourage
After
him.
34-21 loss to the Bears on Thursday, the Cowboys have the second best point differential in NFL history on a team with a losing record. Only the 1963 Detroit Lions did worse.
It's not a player deficiency, Terry. It's a coaching management
Oh, I know it
deficiency.
is. I know it is. And when you sit there and you got the #1 offense, yardage-wise, in the NFL, and you have the 10th best defense, and you are 6-7.
That's your coach.
That's cute.
your coach.
That's cute.
I'm sorry.
coach.
Your
But
field
you
goal
know
kicker
what?
is trash.
But you know what, folks? If Philadelphia wins this week, we're still in first place.
That's your
Terry, I'm going to be honest with you. Do you really want to host a
Yes, he
playoff
does.
game
Yes, he does.
against the 49ers or the Seahawks?
Nobody wants to come to
Well, they're not going to have
That's
to
a
host
joke.
it.
Everybody wants to come to Dallas.
They're not.
They
gonna-
want to play indoors, not in the weather.
They wouldn't host a 40. They would have
Yeah.
host with Minnesota.
Well, no, it
No, they
depends. It would depend on if Seattle
Division
or
winners
divisionals.
host.
Yeah.
They'll get the 5. They'll
So-
host the 5 seed.
Yeah.
I just don't. I know Seattle's beat them once. I just don't think Seattle's going to sweep Sam. They might.
I don't think they'll sweep them either.
If playoffs start today, Cowboys hosting San Francisco.
Yeah.
Minnesota is in Green Bay. Saints with a 1 seed. Seahawks with the 2. In the AFC, it'd be Pittsburgh in Houston, Bills at Kansas City, with Baltimore the 1, and
My homeboy don't want that smoke.
New Orleans the 2 right now.
Buffalo.
I'm just telling you right now. I don't think anybody in the AFC is going to beat Baltimore right now.
They're pretty good.
They're rolling.
Until you get to the playoff.
Baltimore and Buffalo are playing this weekend.
Who's going to beat him in a play?
Tom Brady. Tom Brady.
You
gonna
tell
do
him
it again.
he's going to go down to Baltimore and beat Lamar Jackson.
Belichick will lose once like that, and he's learned he'll not beat them in the playoffs.
Belichick's not playing, and he can't tackle Lamar Jackson.
Here's the
Tell me
thing,
who's
I
going
don't-
to tackle?
smart.
Who's going to tell me he's going to
He's
tackle?
pretty smart
Who's
if you
going to
beat him
tackle
one
Lamar
time.
Jackson?
I'm
I
gonna
don't
say
care.
this. I don't
There's
know.
Nobody, there's
I don't
nobody
even-
in the league that can tackle him, Terry. They
Here's the
can't
thing,
tackle him.
too. I don't even
They can't
know.
catch him.
I don't even know if New England wins this ball game this weekend. They play Kansas City. I know it's
New
in
England-
Foxborough, but
New England looked terrible.
their
in that
offense is
game.
shot
against
for New
Houston.
England.
Against Houston, they look terrible, Terry. Terrible. I just don't see them getting out
Everybody
of the
has
first
a
round.
bad day.
They had a bad day against Baltimore.
and they played a
They're
bad
gonna have
game
another
against
bad day.
Buffalo. How
They-
many bad games are they going to
I'm
have?
just-
Do you know
I'm just
what
telling
Tom
you.
Brady says? For 17 straight years, we've won 10 games or more. So don't be acting like we're 2-10.
This year's different. I'm
10
just
and
telling
2,
you.
right?
Yeah,
I'm
we
telling
are
you, this
10
year,
and 2.
this year's different. He's not really clicking with that wide receiver core. It's just not working.
I'm just happy
I
Julian
just don't-
Edelman's getting me a bunch of fantasy points.
I do like him because he's talking to him now. When I tell you to go, I mean go. And I'm sitting here, guys, and you got to understand it. If you're not going to do what Tom Brady says, you're not going to be at New England. He's made wide receivers.
Oh, well,
He's made
here's the
tight
thing.
ends.
This is probably one of the years that you can just see Tom Brady's frustration
Yes.
come to life. This is one of the few years where you can actually see it on his face and in post-game press conference. He's frustrated.
Yeah.
That he doesn't have any weapons, and their running backs aren't really doing much either. He doesn't have Gronk, his safety net anymore, so he is
Yeah.
frustrated.
Grant's not said he would not come back neither. So be careful.
But he can't come
can't
back
this
this
year.
year.
Oh, I know. But I'm saying
He's lost.
He's already got a party in Miami planned for the Super Bowl.
He's lost like 30 or 40 pounds. Though. I mean, I just don't see him getting. Once you've gotten out of that, I mean, can you see him going back now? I mean,
Jason
Witten did.
Yeah.
They took a year.
Terry, y'all
a
got
year, you're okay.
Terry-
I think if you stay out more, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
So you said you got the number 1 offense. Is that scoring or that's not scoring?
Passing
is that,
offense,
Is
isn't
that,
it?
is that
No, I
yards?
think
Prescott's
total
number-
yardage offense
All right.
overall.
Prescott's number
one
1
in yardage. Jalen Smith's 1 in tackles, offense and defense, and then you're just not winning the games. So there's the Cowboys. If you know my stance on it, I told you Jerry Jones is the good reason for all this. 3 years ago, because when Dak came in, not only did it knock Romo out, it kept Jason Garrett as the coach. And you had to they gave him that deal, you extended him. And as far as coaching goes, Garrett's only had 1 losing season.
Yeah, one.
And that was the year Romo got hurt and missed 13
Kind
games.
of hard to get rid of a man who can
Ron
do it to win.
Rivera, who, by all, I mean, the Panthers media this week, one of the reporters,
They loved him.
One of the reporters was like, they were better than mediocre. Or, talking about that when Tepper said they were mediocre, they were better than mediocre, and all the responses were like, no, they weren't. He had the defensive coach for the Panthers,
Sean
only
McDermott.
3 winning seasons in 9 years. Those 3 winning seasons were the only top 10 defenses Ron Rivera had.
Who was the defensive coordinator he had? Sean McDermott. Where's Sean McDermott now? Head coach of the Buffalo Bills.
Okay. So in 9 years, you only have 3 winning seasons. If Garrett had only 3 winning seasons in 9 years, would he have already been
he'd
fired?
already been gone.
Yes, you had the one good season, and Rivera made the point out. People say I didn't have back-to-back winning seasons, but I won back-to-back division titles. He's kept talking about his 7, 8, and 1 year. So I mean, I don't know what if.
He was very defensive
what do you-
about that too.
Yeah. So okay,
Very
Ron,
defensive.
I'll give that one to you. you still have 5 losing seasons and 4 winning ones. So either way, you have a losing
If
record.
you're a
as far
team
as
that needs
goes.
help on the defensive side of the ball, he's a straight hire, though. Ron Rivera knows
And everybody,
defense.
it seems like everybody liked him, which is fine. But, 3 seasons and 9 years. All right. Looking at this, how about if Kyle Allen goes 1-3? He's only got to win 1 game in his last 4. Those 6 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. That's not good, is it? If he goes 1-3, 6 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, he will tie Cam Newton's rookie year in wins, touchdowns, and interceptions.
Oh, I saw that one game.
He's got to play bad the next 4 weeks to tie Cam. So if he plays average to mediocre, he's going to have a better rookie season than Cam Newton did, other than the yards, but in the rushing. But as far as the passing, the touchdowns, and everything else, Terry, and he's 5-5. And real quick before we go to Tom, on that stat again with Ron, those are Cam's years, right? The only 3 winning seasons were the 3 top 10 defenses. Cam never had a winning season without a top 10 defense. Right now, Kyle Allen is 5-5 with the 26th ranked defense in the NFL. How many quarterbacks in the league are going 5-5 with the 26th ranked defense in the NFL?
That's true.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I just saw that one game in person against Atlanta. I just think they figured out Allen, and he just can't. I mean, you can compare him to Cam Newton. Well, I mean, he's definitely not the answer. So,
All right, how about this, Tom? In the year that Cam and them made the Super Bowl, they beat Seattle. Okay,
right.
Cam in that game had 161 yards, 1 touchdown.
How many rushing yards?
3 rushing yards.
Wow.
No rushing touchdowns.
That surprised me.
161 passing, 1 passing touchdown. 3 rush yards, 0 touchdowns. Kyle Allen against the Redskins, 278 yards. That's 117 more yards than Cam. He had 2 passing touchdowns. Cam had 1 in his playoff win. Kyle Allen had 22 rushing yards against the Redskins. Cam had 3 in a playoff win. Kyle Allen had a rushing touchdown against the Redskins. Cam had none.
Yeah,
if you say those names, people would switch those stats and say, well, Cam had the rushing yards and the rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
The 99 rated running back Sunday, rated higher than Emmitt Smith ever was, had 44 yards.
Kevin was actually having a good time with that every time.
44 yards. The 99 rated running back.
Washington's defense is good.
He's been stopped 7
just
times.
can't score.
7 times, Terry, inside the 3-yard line. How are you rated 99 if you've been stopped 7 times inside the 3?
That's why I want us to keep losing, get
So the
back
Panthers-
to the second pick and get Chase Young on
And then
defense would be nasty.
And then the Panthers defense gave up 29 points to the worst offense in the NFL. So
Our
Kyle
run
Allen
game was
played better than
alive.
Cam did in the playoffs.
They couldn't stop guys.
The
or
99
Peterson.
running back had 44 yards and stopped at the goal line. The 26th ranked defense gave up 29, and we're blaming the quarterback.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I didn't say that.
Well, here's the thing.
Not you, Tom. I'm talking
well, I
about.
know, but here's the thing.
There's a lot of
with
people
the
out there
Panthers.
blaming the quarterback. He's
If
a rookie. He's a rookie.
Yeah.
So the Panthers got beat by Atlanta at home. Now they're playing at Atlanta this weekend. Here's the question: if Kyle Allen and the Panthers get blown out again by the Falcons, who have already been eliminated from playoff hunt, so they're really just playing for S's and G's and to maybe save Dan Quinn's job, is it then time the next week to see what you have in Will Grier?
Maybe.
Because think about it.
If you're out of the playoffs,
the draft
maybe.
is coming up. They're gonna have.
But
I
I don't think Allen's played bad enough to
pick.
get benched. I don't
Well,
think he's played bad enough to get benched.
I don't know, but you got to see what you got with the 3rd round pick last year.
Maybe.
Because here's the thing.
Maybe they already know, though. Hunter.
They might already.
Maybe they
That's
already
what
know.
I'm thinking.
And they know that
If
maybe
they've
he's
not
not
given him a chance, they
I
already
don't
know what they got.
I don't know because if you aren't going to take a quarterback this next year, because there's still rumors
I
that
think
they
they're-
might just keep Cam,
Listen,
but I think
the
his
way,
time's up.
The way Tepper's talking, they're trading
They're-
up. They're trading up for the 1st pick or 2nd pick. Watch him. The way he's talking, he's not accepting mediocre. He wants offense. They're probably getting rid. They've already got rid of the coach. They're probably getting rid of the quarterback. When the new coach comes in, what do? He gets his quarterback. They trade up. Watch for the Panthers to trade up to try to get a quarterback. Whether it's one or not,
they're not
they might
coaching
get the
that
2.
one out of Cincinnati. They're an Ohio team. They get to get Mr. Ohio and Joe Heisman.
Huh.
That's exactly what Cincinnati wants.
People in Cincinnati and Cleveland do anything.
Terry,
but Terry, here's the thing. They
Have
would
you
have
ever
to
been
give
to
up.
Ohio? Has he even been to Ohio?
He's never been
I've
north
been
of North
through it.
Carolina.
I've been through it.
I've been through it.
Which part, Terry?
But
kept
but
on
you know what
going.
I'm saying though, because you got to know what you're going to do in this upcoming draft. Because if you have the opportunity next year to just say, "Hey, we're going to roll with Kyle Allen or Will Greer still not
Need to
have
fix the defense.
not,
It ain't
not
your quarterback.
not have a great season, and if you want a quarterback, you got the sunshine down at Clemson. It's getting ready to come out the next year. They would love to keep him within the Carolinas. Got Justin Fields out of Ohio State. You got quarterbacks everywhere, but you just got to know. You just have to sit down and map out your game plan. Are you gonna roll with Kyle Allen? Because there are gonna be suitors for him if you're not, because he is a capable starter or backup anywhere. So I don't know. There's big question marks around it. You've answered one question. You're obviously moving on from head coach. Well, now you got to find who you're going to replace him with. I said Ron Rivera is going to be the one coach that's going to be highly sought after because he's the only one that's available that has really NFL experience. The rest of them they're going to be grabbing from coordinators or coaches out of college. But he's the only one that has had some success. He can say he's made a Super Bowl. So he's probably going to be one of the first head coaches taken. But when it comes down to the Panthers trying to find his replacement, I don't know. I don't really know who you look at.
I read an article
record
yesterday titled 16 quarterbacks and 16 new places for next year in our predictions. So I read the article. They only predicted 3 of the 16 quarterbacks going to new places. The article was 16 new, that was the picture and the words, and I read it, and I was like, I wasted all of my time on it.
Do you know who
Everybody's
they
saying the same
say? Do you
place.
know who they say the front runner is to get the head coaching position, or at least is going to be pursued the most by Tepper? Jim Harbaugh.
No, I like him at Michigan.
I know you like him in Michigan, but I don't know if he's going to want. I don't know. He's getting paid what, $11 million
People
a year.
throwing Myers' name around. They're throwing everybody's name around.
Someone said that Tepper wouldn't be. They wouldn't be surprised if Tepper picked up the phone and called Dabo.
Hey, a lot of times the assistants get hired. Fuel's going to have a chance. Former South Point guy to run the Panthers for a couple of weeks. It's surprising they didn't make Norv the head coach. He's
an assistant to the head coach.
If they don't name Norv Turner with all the experience he has as head coach and everything, and they make the other guy, especially maybe they're looking at him for something more, and they already know. Not Norv, the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
So Norvin is probably gone.
They know what Norv did at Chargers.
Position coach.
Defensive backs coach.
Yeah.
Careful with that. Cleveland tried that.
He's a positions coach. Yeah, he's never even been a coordinator.
All right. So, did you see the Chargers when they lost the other day, Terry? Phillip Rivers?
No, I did not.
They've lost by a combined, I think their point differential was legit.
They have a positive point differential.
Yeah, positive.
Yeah. And
they have a losing record.
And they have a losing record. They gave up a pass interference with 10 seconds. I went inside. San Diego returned the kick. And I thought it was going to overtime. With 10 seconds left in the game, I went inside to get a drink, said to the kids, come back out, expecting commercials to be playing. What a game! The other team wins. I'm like, what just happened? I have no idea. So I go back and watch the replays online, and they give up a pass interference down the field with 10 seconds left to go.
Such a Chargers way to
There
lose.
are +3, y'all, in point differential, and they're 4-8.
They're kind of the Cleveland Browns of California.
They're 4-8.
Right now, yeah.
With a plus differential. So I want to talk about that loss, and then real quick, I know we're gonna pick the NFL games real quick, but I do want to. Did anybody see what Chris Paul did last night in the NBA game for tough
called
losses?
out the guy for untucked
Did y'all see it?
He was a tattletale.
Minnesota,
he was a snitch.
Minnesota up 2. Okay, 1.1 seconds with the ball on the free throw line and got beat. Minnesota with the ball on the free throw line up to 1.1 seconds left, got beat. Here's what happened. A player checked into the game, didn't have his shirt tucked in, Terry. Chris Paul yells at the referees, that's a delay of game. That's a delay of game. The refs agree. Call the foul, technical foul. They go down and shoot the free throw, hit the free throw. Now, we're back to the other free throw line, 1.1 second left. You have the ball. You're winning, Terry, by 1. The coach tells him to miss the free throw. He clangs it in. The free throw goes in. Steven Adams takes a step out of bounds, throws the ball full court, hits a streaking player in the lane, catches it, throws it up like one-handed off the glass, bank, in the basket, tied. We're going to overtime. And Minnesota lost in overtime. Up to 1.1 seconds left with the ball and 2 free throws, Terry, and lost. Is that coaching?
Yeah, the agony of defeat.
Well, just, and after watching all that at Kings Mountain last night, I saw that and I'm like, you can't feel too bad for Kings Mountain right now after just losing with that one right there. 1.1 seconds left. That's just amazing to me. All right, y'all want to pick some games?
Yeah.
Panthers and Falcons. Falcons favored by 3.5 in the Dome.
I'm going to take the Panthers to get revenge. I've picked the Falcons when they were hot.
Why does nobody ever bring up that Matt Ryan's MVP?
I know.
Every time somebody says Cam Newton, it's like a doctor. It's Tom Sinofani, PhD. It's Cam Newton / MVP, and nobody ever says
former
Matt Ryan
MVP Cam Newton. Well, it's also former MVP, went to a Super Bowl and lost to the
same
Patriots.
thing.
Yeah, same
Matty
thing.
Ice.
Matty Ice.
Falcons win.
Falcons.
Y'all are really confident in that. Tom, you already saw the Falcons. They were chanting ATL in the stadium.
I
right?
want to take the Falcons, but I just took the Falcons the other week when they were hot, and guess what? They
Tampa
laid a
Bay.
big fat L.
Tampa Bay.
I can't.
You can't bet against the
I
Buccaneers.
can't now.
Ravens at Bills. Come on, Hunter.
Buffalo.
There he goes.
Buffalo.
Terry.
Bills Mafia, baby.
Bills
It's
Mafia.
gonna be cold,
Tom, you've seen the Bills
man.
in person in the dog pound. Can they beat the Ravens?
No.
Josh Allen is getting better week to week. Week to week.
Well, if the Browns could have won Sunday and said the Dodos lost, this would have been a very important game to go to over 500. But instead, they got the Bengals at home, favored by 7. $9, Tom. You can get up to Cincinnati and see another Browns game.
No, but if Freddie Kitchens loses this game, he might get fired Monday morning. So he better
Browns
win.
win.
Yeah, Browns will probably win.
Andy Dalton is back. Be careful.
Andy Dalton now is the leading. The quarterback's got the most touchdowns in Cincinnati Bengals history. Did that last week.
Cam Newton and Andy Dalton drafted in the same draft. Here's their numbers. Cam with 68 wins, Dalton with 69. Cam with 55 losses, Dalton with 58. Cam 1 tie, Dalton 2. Dalton 62%, Cam 60. Dalton 198 touchdowns, Cam 182 touchdowns. Dalton 112 interceptions, Cam 108 interceptions. Dalton 237 a game, Cam 232 a game. 88 rating for Dalton, 88 rating for Cam Newton.
Can we clip that
Drafted
and
the
post
same,
that
same
everywhere?
year. Drafted
I'm
the
just
same year.
saying.
The Panthers could have Andy Dalton and Von Miller on the team.
I know.
Redskins at Packers. Do you do it again?
Here's the thing.
Redskins get eliminated this week.
Eliminated.
Packers.
They're in.
We've been
You're gonna
eliminated
get
for a
kicked out
while.
of Super Bowl contention this week if you can't win a Green Bay.
But I will say this: what was our strength last week against the Panthers? The run game. What does the Green Bay struggle with all year? The run game. I am not saying we're going to win.
You uncover?
But we'll cover this 12.5 point spread. We'll cover 12.5 because we'll do ball
I'd
control.
stay
Aaron
away from
Rodgers.
that point
Aaron
spread.
Rodgers does not
Did you
look
see what
the
he
same.
said about the golf analogy, Aaron Rodgers? He said he is on he can see the 18th hole from where he's at in his career right now. And everybody want to know, does that mean you're on the 17th green? Or are you on
I'm telling you,
are you on the 10th hole
Aaron
making
Rodgers
a turn? Like where you
does
at?
not look the same. He just doesn't.
Lines at Vikings.
Vikings
favored by 13.
Vikings.
I'm going to take the Vikings. You know what it is? Danica retired from NASCAR, and she's getting in his ear.
Yeah.
She's saying, hey, I'm ready. We'll
She don't
see
have a
what
baby, does
happens.
she?
No.
Wait a minute. Is that his?
That's his girlfriend.
Didn't
Yeah,
realize
Patrick. Yep.
Yeah.
49ers at Saints. Saints favored by 2 at home.
49ers.
I think the
Rams
49ers
Nope.
are
that.
better.
Defense is too good.
Not
It is.
in New Orleans, because here's the key. New Orleans wants the home field. If they have the home field, it's tough to win there. This is the one that they got to win it,
They've
because
had
if
home
the
field
49ers
past 2 years and gotten screwed both times.
Yeah. If the 49ers
I don't know if
do,
they want that again.
They don't want to go on the road, though. If the 49ers do win this game, they can, like Tom was saying, they can still win the division out if they win this game. And then the Saints would have to go to San Francisco. Dolphins at Jets.
That is a trash can of a game.
Is this
I'm
the game in
taking-
hell today?
I'm taking the Dolphins.
So am I.
Which game's in hell today? Dolphins and Jets or Bengals and Browns?
Jets.
Dolphins and Jets.
Okay.
Because at least we know what the Bengals are.
Jets get a win. Miami's not going to win 2 in a row.
The stay away.
I said they would cover last week, and they ended up winning.
The stay away from
Of all the things, like he cherry picks his statements. I'll tell you.
The stay away no matter what if you're a gambler game today. Colts and Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay.
The most unpredictable two teams maybe in the league.
It is.
Buccaneers have got the best run defense in the league, and the Colts have one of the best rushing offenses. I'm going to take Bruce Arians and the Buccaneers.
Who will be the Bucs quarterback next year?
Jameis.
Cam Newton?
They'll franchise tag him.
Really?
You think I just pulled that out of nowhere?
I
I'm
do.
reading it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Tampa Bay.
Broncos and Texans. Rumors are Brady could finish his career in Denver like Peyton.
No.
Texans.
Nah.
Texans will beat them.
I'm taking Houston.
Another game in hell today. Jaguars and Chargers. Terry?
Those Jaguars. They play.
Hey, man. Minshew Mania's back, baby. He's been pulled off. I mean, they sat Nick Foles.
Well, Nick Foles has just not produced. I like Jacksonville. Minshew Mania's got a little.
I like Gardner Minshew a lot, but just think about this: how much dead money that is now that Nick Foles is on the bench.
Nick Foles has more playoff victories than Cam Newton, and more Super Bowl MVPs, and more Super Bowls than Cam Newton. He's had a wonderful, outstanding.
He's outside of
career.
Philadelphia. He's absolutely.
He's an outstanding backup quarterback.
Yeah.
All right,
he did exactly what they want you to do.
Titans and Raiders.
Raiders.
I'm taking the Titans.
Tannehill's been on a roll.
I'm taking the Titans. I think it's been like 4.
How many more times are you going to pick the Raiders till you realize they're not that good?
Tennessee's favored.
The
Raiders.
I'm taking Tennessee.
He picked Raiders to win the division.
Have you seen? I think, and a player that's not being talked about a lot either is Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry in his last 4 games has ran for over 120 yards. So.
Yep. Chiefs
monster
at Patriots. Patriots favored by 3 today.
No.
Patriots win by 14
tomorrow.
Chiefs
tomorrow.
Patriots are done. Mark my words.
I'm taking
tomorrow.
I'm taking Kansas City. And who was it that said Kansas City wouldn't even make the playoffs this year?
Daggum Kansas City won't even make the daggum
They got a
playoffs.
2-game lead with 4 to go.
Yeah. Huh.
Daggum not gonna make it.
They got a 2-game lead with 4 to go. Rematch of the Super Bowl a long time ago. Steelers and Cardinals.
Steelers. That's right. They told Cleveland you got to come through us, and they did, and they could not win.
Duck Hodges. I'm taking the
They
Steelers.
don't have the psychological advantage they do over Cleveland. I like Arizona to beat
at
Pittsburgh.
home. Arizona. Pittsburgh's favored by 2 on the road for that one.
They won't win.
Seahawks and Rams. Even money on this one.
Seattle.
Pick 'em. It's a pick 'em. The Rams.
Seattle.
They
the
look
Rams
like
is a pick 'em.
Yep.
Yeah. They look like they caught
LA. In LA.
The Rams look like they
Seattle.
caught lightning last week, though. They blew out the Cardinals. Blew them out.
I don't know. Golf's not consistent.
It's in
I like
LA.
Seattle. Why? How could you go against Russell Wilson as a consistent winner?
Monday night.
You know,
Never had a
Wisconsin
losing
guy,
season.
Terry. He's a Wisconsin guy.
NC State guy.
Wisconsin. Monday Night Football has extreme division championship implications between the 2-10 Giants and the 5-7 Eagles.
No, here's the biggest story.
First place is on the line.
The biggest
between the
story
2-10 Giants
in
and the
this
5-7
game
Eagles.
is Eli Manning's probably going to play this game.
And the Giants win and pull within 2 games of the Eagles.
Well, here's the thing. I actually want the Giants to win this game so they keep getting out of that 2 spot because I don't want them getting Chase Young.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to face Chase Young twice a year.
This might be the lowest rated Monday night game in history.
All right, finally, Terry, I want to congratulate your boy, Kyle Busch. Did you see what he did this week? He won his 3rd championship of his career. Did you know that?
Okay.
Did you see it?
What, he won his fantasy league?
No, he won it. Kyle Busch won the championship this week. This week.
What do you mean this week? He won it like 2 weeks ago.
No, this week. Monday Night Raw. Kyle Busch won the 24/7 Anywhere Championship. Do y'all know what that means?
No,
So there's a belt.
Okay.
That whoever has the belt can be challenged anywhere, anytime, 24/7.
Well, who did he beat?
So I can't remember the guy's name. He came out and he started talking to Michael Waltrip was there with Kyle on the front row. So the champion come out there and was congratulating him, shaking Kyle's hand and Michael Waltrip. They brought him out there for a second. Well, when he brings Waltrip out, Waltrip won't shake the wrestler's hand. And then Waltrip unbuckles his shirt, Terry, like a basketball player, and reveals his referee jersey. The wrestler still hasn't got what's going on. He throws his hands up, shaking his head. What's going on? Kyle Busch runs up from behind, underneath his leg, scoops him up, rolls him up in front of the crowd, Terry, and 1, 2, 3, Michael Waltrip counted out. Kyle Busch wins the 24/7 World Championship
That's
WWE.
competitive. That's what champions do.
That's right.
Champions just win.
I thought Jimmy
They
Johnson
just
was a
win.
better athlete because he did triathlons.
Come on,
no,
John.
Kyle Busch won the
What are y'all,
WWE
12 years old?
24/7
Yeah.
championship.
Whoa,
Have a
whoa.
happy Saturday. Bah humbug from Serafani. We'll be back next week. KTCBroadcasting.com.
Christmas is a time for kids. And once again this year, Renato Automall in Shelby is working to make this Christmas a little brighter for the underprivileged kids in our area.